This man is clearly a police officer, yet he's secretly keeping 4 young dragons locked in his basement. Anyone else seeing this would think he's some kind of twisted pervert, but only he knew he was so tired and helpless that this was his only resort. His name is Yu Jitae, an awakened being with the power of regression. In the 21st century, gates to other worlds suddenly appeared, on Earth. Thanks to them, humanity simultaneously awakened superhuman abilities to control and train these ability users. The government established academies. While everything was starting to stabilize, not far away, a dragon planet called Ascalpa sent 4 young dragons to Earth. Their initial intention was simply to let their children experience new joys, but they never imagined this would be the worst mistake they could ever make. After arriving on Earth, not a single one of the 4 young dragons survived. Some were swept up in uncontrollable wars and lost their lives. Some were crushed by the malice of humanity until they broke. And some, unable to complete their given mission, took their own lives. This was the trigger that led to the Dragon Clan's revenge. A regressor, like him, who had repeated life so many times, had become unimaginably strong, but it still wasn't enough to protect the world. In his 6th regression, he did everything he possibly could, from sacrificing 50 years of his lifespan to borrow power from the future, to staying 3 steps ahead to prevent every possible disaster. But in the end, after all that, he could only save a single person. Staring at the hundreds of millions of dragons before him, he could only let out a long sigh. If only I had sat down and listened to what that little girl had to say. Could things have been different? And so, he fought the dragons for 3 whole days. But he knew deep down that no matter how many he killed, their numbers would never end. Once, again, he used that ability. The Authority Vintage Clock activated, reversing the world's timeline. For JT, this familiar notification, the very thing that made him the strongest, was also what he hated with a burning passion. Sometimes he felt too exhausted by this cycle of life and death. Sometimes he wished he could just die along with the rest of humanity. Sometimes he just wanted to walk outside like a normal person, to run, to have fun. But the very power and blessing that had once made him the strongest in the world now clung to his life and refused to let go. In this 7th life, he decided to try a different way. The next day, in Florence, Italy, amidst the cheerful atmosphere, JT suddenly appeared with a calm expression, but deep inside was an exhaustion no one could understand. His gaze fell directly on the blue-haired girl as he spoke. "Hello, could you come with me for a moment?" Hearing this, Green slowly turned her head. She took a deep breath as if preparing for something. A system window suddenly appeared within, a magic circle, the collapsing towers of Babel S, proficiency in foreign languages and scripts. Green, with her blushing cheeks and long, blue hair, spoke softly. "Hello, what can I do for you, sir?" JT quickly replied. "There's a small matter I need to resolve." She asked, "You came here because you know who I am, didn't you?" With dark circles under his eyes, he admitted, "That's right. And you, do you know who I am?" Green whispered. "Yes, I do." Under the clear blue sky, she gently spoke his name. "Yu Jitae," Green said timidly, even though she already knew the answer. "That's right, isn't it?" His face darkened as he questioned her. "Where did you hear that name?" She pointed to the badge on JT's shirt and said, "Right there, your chest has Yu Jitae engraved on it." "Just kidding. I have no idea who you are or what you do, but there's one thing I can guess. You're incredibly strong, and you absolutely don't belong in a place like this." JT froze when he heard those words, his eyes suddenly darting to the side. Green leaned forward and guessed, "Don't tell me you're here to kill me?" He denied it. "That's not it." She thought of another scenario. "Kidnapping?" JT replied flatly. "Something like that." Green immediately covered herself, her eyes welling up with tears. "Or are you one of those special types with a thing for dragons?" He could only sigh. "Stop messing around. I intend to protect you in this dangerous world. If you don't listen, I'll be forced to use stronger measures. The eyes of your race are said to be able to read the threads of fate, making you more sensitive and quicker to grasp situations than other races." Green listened intently, as blue spiritual energy began to radiate from her eyes. JT walked past where she was standing, emphasizing every word. "You are one of them. Make a wise decision." Green forced a smile and asked, So if I'm a good girl and listen, will you treat me kindly?" He stuck his hands in his pockets and said with absolute certainty, "Yes." She closed her eyes and continued, "I understand. It's not like I have a choice anyway, but you have to treat me like an honored guest, okay?" Then, Green turned around and took a step forward. She gave a wink and held up her pinky finger. "This is a promise, mister." Suddenly, Green's finger began to tremble more than ever before. JT pressed his lips together, observing her meticulously, then held out his own pinky to hook it with. Green's, replying, "Fine, I promise." The scene changes to a tall building bathed in sunlight. She had a sleepy look on her face, sleeping with her head peeking out the door. Green, wearing one of his thin shirts, rubbed her eyes and asked, "Are you awake, sir?" She called out when she saw JT sitting in front of a dark shadow. "Sir." Right now, he was giving an order to the shadow of Grand Duke S. "Summon a clone that can wield 50% of the original's power." "It's nothing. Just go and do as I say." The shadow then transformed into JT and immediately obeyed. "Yes, I will obey, my lord." The original slowly walked right up to Green. She stared at him and said, "Hello." In her mind, she compared them. They look exactly the same. JT suddenly spoke up. "Don't worry about it. That's a clone to do my work for me." Startled, Green turned her head back. "Ah, did you sleep well, sir? But it seems you don't do the work yourself, do you?" he asked innocently while reading the newspaper. "The clone is also part of my power, so it's as if I'm doing it. Besides, I have to stay by your side." She gave a forced smile. "Ah, I guess that's true. Then let's have breakfast." JT mumbled the two words, breakfast. Green started stretching and replied, "Of course we have to eat. You skipped dinner last night too." He dismissed it flatly. "I don't need it." She pressed her face into the pillow and whispered, "But it's weird for me to eat alone when the host isn't eating." JT glanced over, questioning, "Are you always so concerned with eating? Dragons can live without eating, you know." Green swung her legs cheerfully and explained, "It's not a matter of survival. Eating good food makes you happy. It lifts your spirits." He asked flatly, "Is that so?" She stood up and pleaded, "No way. You have to go to the market with me." JT still refused. "I don't need to." Green turned her face, her tone firm. "Let me show you the power of breakfast." The scene changes to the nearby Smart supermarket. People were bustling back and forth in front of the supermarket entrance. Everyone was looking in one direction and whispering, "Hey, look, Mom, is that lady a celebrity? The guy with her is handsome too. Don't get too close. You'll get ink splattered on you. It's a pain." It turned out to be Jinty shopping with Green. He held up the bags and wondered, "Isn't this a bit much just for breakfast?" She held up a finger and said, "I checked the kitchen earlier, and there were no ingredients or utensils. We'll need them later, so we have to have the basics. Now, let's go home. I'll make breakfast really quickly." Jinty sighed and objected. "Don't leave the stuff at home. Let's eat out." Green was surprised. "Huh? Why?" He closed his eyes and said, "I have a place to go, and you have to come with me. Besides, breakfast time is long past." Seeing this, Green lowered her head and replied in a small voice, "I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've been shopping, so I got too excited. But is there somewhere we have to go?" Jinty, carrying bags in both hands, walked ahead and explained, "There are a few things you need to live here." She was completely puzzled by his next words. "No need to rush. There's a lot to be done." The scene changes to an old man, blind in one eye, grinning with the other. "Absolutely beautiful. Is this girl the director's lover?" Jinty's face darkened as he threatened, "If you don't want to lose your remaining eye, then shut your mouth and do your job." The old man just huffed and processed Green's information. Afterwards, the two went outside to receive their cards. Not long after, a pile of jewelry appeared before them. The two happily pointed at the system panel, discussing. A while later, Green held the ID card in her hand and exclaimed, "I have an ID card now too. It's amazing." He was surprised. "You've never had one before?" she continued. "Not just an ID, I didn't have an account or a hologram locator either." Seeing this, Jinty thought to himself, "How on earth did she survive on this planet?" Green guessed. "They used your last name." "But what does the name Baum mean?" He quickly explained, "It's from the 4 seasons, because there are 4 dragons." After hearing that, she exclaimed happily, "You Baum, I like this name. Spring is the season of new life sprouting. It's so beautiful. Actually, I'm still not completely unafraid of you. My eyes are still warning me that you're very dangerous, but maybe you're not a bad person." Jinty frowned and reminded her, "You've only known me for a day, and you're already making such a claim?" Green turned around to explain, "My intuition is sharper than anyone else's, because I'm from the Dragon Clan." She looked at the cherry blossom petals falling in front of him, and said hesitantly, "So," Green's tone became incredibly sweet, "can I observe you a little longer? Let's go home and have dinner. I'll definitely make it delicious." Seeing this, Jinty pondered. A dragon's smile. Something I've never seen in previous regressions. He looked up at the sky, watching the petals fall, and Jinty closed his eyes, thinking to himself, "Not a bad start." The scene changes to a desolate place, with the moon shining from above, some barren desert in South Africa. Red stood before a man, looking down on him contemptuously. What's this? You were acting all high and mighty before, and this is all you've got? He gritted his teeth and coughed a few times. The next second, the man screamed as the sole of the girl's shoe came down. You crazy bitch, you dare touch us and think you can get away with it? Red didn't hesitate to stomp on his head, stating firmly, yeah, your face is so ugly I might have stomped a little too hard. You're probably not dead, right? The girl adjusted the mask on her face and let out a breath. So that's 199 matches, 199 wins. Red took it off, revealing a mischievous face, and mumbled, who's next? At this time, news outlets were constantly reporting on the escalating violence in South Africa, with the terrorist organization Bakata attacking, resulting in over 1,400 civilian casualties. The Southern African Alliance, or SAN, declared that Africa would not tolerate violence. Africa's night prowler continues to clash with SAN. After Bakata, Jinti read the news intently. It's time to act. Outside. Green. A notification pops up. Sir, are you still busy? Dinner's ready. J.T. replied, I have to go now. Green served a horrifying dish that looked completely inedible. J.T. stared in disgust at the terrible food in front of him. Green was still cheerful. Is it good? She excitedly explained how she made it. I learned how to make herring back when I was in England. I thought it would be great combined with Korean-style rice. They say, rice is power, right? J.T. looked uneasily at the intact herring head on the spoon. He hesitated for a long time, unable to bring himself to eat it. J.T. put the spoon down and announced, we're gonna get Red tomorrow. Green asked, Red? She looked worried, but bringing her back will be really hard. She's not as obedient as I am. J.T. reassured her, it'll be easier to convince her, if you're there. Green was confused. Huh? How can I help? There's still a gap between the dragon clans. J.T. stopped eating. He asked seriously, a gap? Green quickly explained. Yes. Dragons have different clans. My clan loves to create crafts, but Red's clan is different. They love war and showing off their strength. Forcing her will be even more dangerous. To Red's clan, surrender is worse than death. J.T. understood that, but his decision was made. But we have to get Red soon. Someone is targeting her. If we don't, she'll die. He looked Green straight in the eye. So if you come with me, everything will go smoothly. He realized Green was also staring at him. Why are you looking at me like that? Green smiled. It's strange for you to ask me for a favor like this. I thought you always handled things on your own. Green's words made him thoughtful. She continued cheerfully. All right, fine. I'll help you. It's rare for you to ask, and I don't want Red to die either. But suddenly, her expression turned mischievous. But I have a condition, okay? J.T. asked. What? Her condition was incredibly simple. You have to eat everything I cooked. I know you always put your chopsticks down whenever Red is mentioned. For J.T., this was a request more difficult than anything else. J.T. squeezed his eyes shut, took a deep breath, and slowly scooped up the food, bringing it to his mouth. I understand. The scene changes to a desert region, where bodies in military uniforms are scattered across the ground. Red was holding a soldier up by the collar, surrounded by a sea of corpses. An old soldier was thrown hard to the ground, letting out a painful cough. Asterisk, cough, asterisk, Red scoffed. Humph, a bunch of weaklings. She turned her back and walked away in frustration. I didn't want to win like this at all. There are no opponents left in Africa. Where should I go now? Green is in Africa. I should pay her a visit. Behind a wall, two soldiers were lying in ambush. One, holding a knife, was terrified. Damn it, he panicked. The SAN elite squad was wiped out by a little girl. The other, holding a gun, warned him, don't underestimate her. She's a battle-crazed monster. The other man said worriedly, we're not strong enough. We have to wait for him to arrive. Before he could finish, Red suddenly appeared behind them, swinging the sword in her hand. Hey, what are you two whispering? About in the dark, huh? The man with the gun spun around in shock. Huh? What the? She didn't give them time to react. Immediately, preparing to charge. Too late. Suddenly, flashes of light appeared in the distance, catching Red's attention. A beam of light shot straight at Red, which she quickly blocked. This time, Red no longer looked relaxed. She thought with difficulty, this mana, it's so heavy. Red tightened her grip on her sword. Take a deep breath. She unleashed a strike, slicing through all the mana. The two soldiers on the other side were stunned. She cut right through the mana. She's a monster. A mysterious-looking man approached. Is that kid the Night Raider? The two soldiers turned. Sir Javier. The newcomer was Javier Kama, ranked 8th in San. He ordered, "You two, retreat." On the other side, Red asked confidently, surprised. Huh? She stretched her arm after blocking the attack. Was that last hit a bit heavy for you? Red flashed a mischievous smile. Are you the commander? Heh, Javier remarked, impressed. I heard she was a woman, but she's younger than I thought. Red walked forward, tossing aside her broken sword. Hey, are you captivated by me too? That's why I wear a mask, you know. She continued talking to herself. You guys were too busy admiring my stunning beauty to fight properly, weren't you? Javier's face darkened. You've seen the difference in our power, yet you still refuse to surrender? She scoffed. What? Running away is pathetic. Red gathered power in her hands. Of course, she would never surrender. She'd rather die, fighting. Red charged forward confidently, found an opening. She threw a powerful punch at Javier. He simply raised his sword to block it. Following that, Red unleashed a barrage of attacks aimed at him. She was still very confident. Watch this. Red intended to finish Javier with a dirty trick, a blow below the belt. The attack landed, but Red was stunned. Huh? Her fist had connected with his groin, but to her surprise, it didn't budge. Javier asked calmly, It seems you've never fought anyone stronger than you, have you? All your previous fights were just child's play. He leaned in close to Red's face. What a waste of talent. As he spoke, he swung his giant sword. But I'm not an opponent you can trifle with. Javier lunged forward, his sword slashing across Red's body. She tried to dodge in a panic. Whoa. A massive amount of mana flowed into the sword, Javier's sword. Javier's eyes flashed. He intended to unleash a finishing blow on his opponent. Activate. Red could only defend. Damn it, I can't dodge in time. A massive slash of light cut into Red, so fast it was impossible to follow. The blow sent her flying, her body slamming hard against a wall. Red cried out in pain. Javier saw his attack land. He couldn't finish Red off with that blow, and he praised her inwardly. In just an instant, she had reinforced her arm to block the attack. She was truly no ordinary kid. I'll have to increase my power. Javier looked over to where Red had been thrown, but when did she disappear? Javier approached. Where did she go? Behind a wall, Green was covering Red's mouth, signaling her to be quiet. Red was shocked. Why are you here? Green replied cheerfully. I heard you were in danger, so I came to save you. As Green treated her wounds, Red grumbled. Just showing up out of nowhere, talking about saving me. Who needs saving? Green said calmly. If you keep this up, you'll die. But Red stubbornly pushed Green's hand away. Hey Green, butt out of my fights, okay? I don't care if I live or die. I'm seeing this through to the end. Green spoke gently. Red, if you die, our game ends. Red looked bewildered. Huh? As she continued to treat Red, Green said, You don't want to spoil the fun, do you? Red agreed. I do want to stay on Earth. Hearing that, Green cheerfully suggested, Let's team up, Red. What do you say? Let's escape together. Red was taken aback by Green's sincerity. She pouted. That guy's way too strong. He'll catch us no matter where we run. Green wasn't scared. Don't worry, he'll handle it. Red was puzzled. He? Green nodded. Yep, I didn't come alone. Just then, JT appeared behind Javier. Javier sensed him instantly, spinning around to ask, Who are you? He let out a sigh, then looked up and gave a short reply. Her protector. The scene shifts to a strange place, where a little blonde girl is sniffing the air. That's strange. It smells like green, but it isn't. Looking up, the little girl, Gold, asked cheerfully, Who are you, mister? The little girl wondered aloud. You're not a bad guy, are you? Back on the battlefield, JT faced Javier, who scoffed. Her protector? That kid doesn't look like she needs any protecting. From her hiding spot, Red peeked out to watch the fight. Is that the guy you were talking about? Green quickly pulled her back in. It's dangerous. Get back here. Meanwhile, JT was making an offer, explaining everything would be complicated. So let's just end things here, Javier asked suspiciously. What did you say? He stepped forward. You just show up and start spouting nonsense? I can't just let this go. That brat has crossed the line, JT countered. But she hasn't killed anyone. Javier grew angry. Don't screw with me. JT paid him no mind and continued. She won't be here for much longer anyway. He proposed in a serious tone. So, can't you just let this go? Javier slowly drew his sword. You think I'll back down just because you said so? He took a fighting stance. This area is under the jurisdiction of San, Javier growled. As an investigator of San, I will apprehend both the girl and you, her so-called protector. He swung his sword, unleashing a massive wave of mana that lit up the entire area. The energy wave destroyed everything in its path, shattering the surrounding earth and rock. Javier finished his attack. He stood there proudly. Javier turned away with a sneer. If you're with that monster, you should have been able to withstand that. But to his surprise, JT emerged without a single scratch, enveloped in a mysterious aura of energy. How annoying, JT said, irritated. They said he was a rank 8 superhuman, but I didn't think he'd be this stubborn. Javier spun around. When did he get behind me? He tried to use his sword skill once more, but before he could finish the incantation, his arm, still holding the sword, was sliced clean off. The attack was so fast, Javier didn't even have time to register what happened. He had just lost an arm. Descending from the air, JT walked past Javier, who had collapsed to the ground. Listen here. Today is going to be the unluckiest day of your life. JT's eyes were filled with rage. JT's every word drilled into his mind. While hunting that girl, you had the misfortune of running into an unexpected monster. He leaned close and whispered in his ear, and you were completely unable to handle its attacks. As a result, you lost both of your arms and your eyes. And in the end, you let both targets escape. JT held his sword level with Javier's eyes as he continued his threat. And finally, you will forget all of this. JT's hands gripped Javier's head. Terrified, the man begged, wait, please. He didn't make him wait long. With a decisive slash, the sword swiped across. JT knew that San had healers, so his arms and eyes could be healed. However, the fear now seared into his very soul could never be erased. Blood stained the ground. Fear is an incredibly effective weapon, and JT had just used it to its full potential. JT didn't kill Javier. Instead, after blinding him, he let him live. He turned back and said, even that young dragon known as the Night Hunter isn't immune to this. Red had witnessed the entire thing, her body frozen stiff. She stammered, hey, Green. What in the world is that guy? Green corrected her. He's not a monster. He's human. Red scoffed. Ha, if that guy's human, then I'm just a lizard. JT approached the two of them. He declared, Red Dragon, you will live in my house, under my protection. He continued, I'll give you plenty of freedom and provide anything you need. His face darkened as he warned, but if you ever leave my protection. Suddenly, Green shouted, Mister! She hugged Red tightly. I think Red is in shock right now. Let me calm her down and I'll explain everything to her later, okay? Startled by the sudden hug, Red stammered, What are you doing? What are you doing to me, huh? Green winked, signaling to JT. Getting the signal, he fell silent for a moment before JT turned away. From now on, your name is Yu Aorium. Remember it. I'll explain everything later. Red mumbled the name Yu Aorium to himself. JT looked up at the sky, the sound of Red and Green arguing behind him. Green praised, Red, you've gotten bigger since last time. Red snapped, hey, I'm not in the mood for jokes. JT was reporting to someone. Reporting, the situation has been handled, my lord. At the same time, deep in the Amazon rainforest, another JT received the signal. In front of him, Gold was playing happily. JT praised, good job. You were talking to a clone. I'll finish up here and be right back. Before starting the mission, JT had considered it carefully. That kid is completely savage, so a clone would have a hard time convincing her. Luckily, I sent U-Bomb with her. Gold ran over and sat down in front of him. The little girl asked, who were you just talking to, mister? JT denied it. It was nothing. Gold said playfully, hey, that's so weird. Here's your smartwatch. Do you like talking to yourself? The golden dragon was just like any other golden dragon. It loved attention. The girl had lived 1/3 of her 6 lives as a star. The brightest stars were also the dragons that caused the most destruction. The love of the crowd, while glamorous, also came with a dark side. That must be why she was in the middle of this wilderness. Gold was still busy playing with JT's smartwatch. Mister, this is super cool. The girl excitedly waved her arm, projecting a screen into the air. The image is super sharp. I've never seen anything like this before. JT asked, why are you here? Gold was a bit startled. Huh? JT leaned back and continued to ask, if you want entertainment, you should be living with humans. This place only has wild animals and insects. Gold suddenly jumped to her feet. Huh? How did you know? JT replied curtly. The green dragon told me. Gold excitedly ran around JT. So, Henry, I smell her scent on you. Does that mean you know Green? JT's voice deepened. Gold, he asked directly. Are you afraid of humans now? The little girl froze. Gold said, flustered. Well, it's not that I'm really afraid of humans. I used to live with them. The girl recounted sadly. But some people looked at me in a weird way. And some guys kept following me. So it was a little scary. Something like that. Gold leaned her back against JT. She gave a bitter smile. Anyway, it is what it is. JT changed the subject. Do you like bread? Gold was about to refuse. Bread? I'm a dragon, so I don't need to eat. JT snapped his fingers, and a black rift appeared in the air, the shallowest part of the void, a subdimension that could swallow an entire city. From this place, monstrous arms reached out, and a bag of bread was delivered right to JT. Gold's eyes widened in stunned silence. Whoa. The girl leaned in for a closer look. It really is bread before my eyes. Gold cheered happily. It's really bread. Her eyes sparkled. It smells so good. Are you really giving this to me? JT held out his hand. Yeah. Gold was still surprised to see so many types of pastries inside. How do you have so many? Whoa. There are donuts and even a blueberry egg tart. JT began his persuasion. Gold, don't stay here anymore. Come with me. Your friends are there. You'll be safe. And if you like the entertainment industry, you can join it. Gold was munching on bread while listening to JT. The girl licked her lips, still acting wary. But my mom told me not to follow strangers. JT delivered the final blow. I'll buy you pastries. With just that one sentence, Gold had found the true meaning of her life. Another morning arrived in the city where JT lived. The building JT lived in was welcoming new members today. Red stood leaning against the railing. She gazed at the peaceful scenery outside. A cigarette was in her mouth. Red thoughtfully recalled yesterday's events, which had happened so quickly, from the battle with Javier to the appearance of JT. These things frustrated Red. Inside the house, behind the glass, Green looked outside. Green saw Red brooding. She was about to call out, Red. From outside, the sound of familiar footsteps echoed. JT had returned with Gold. The little girl held a bag of bread in her hand, looking around in awe. So, you live here, sir? Let me rephrase that. I'm absolutely not following you because of the bread. Gold continued to chatter. That sausage bread was really good, even better than premium Ascalpa sausage. As she spoke, the girl popped another pastry into her mouth. Suddenly, Gold froze, startled in amazement. A look of pure satisfaction appeared on Gold's face. But what is this macaron? It's crispy on the outside, but unbelievably soft on the inside. This is truly the taste of heaven. Seeing JT return, Green was overjoyed. You're back, he replied. Yeah. Gold, who was eating, now noticed Green. The little girl shouted happily, Whoa, Green. Green replied gently, It's been a while. Gold. The girl rushed straight into Green's arms. It's been so long. I missed you so much. She affectionately stroked Gold's head. You look even prettier than the last time I saw you, Gold. The two of them danced happily inside the house. Gold took the chance to ask about the situation. When did you get here? Are you living here alone with him? Green explained cheerfully. I haven't been here for very long either. Red is over there, too. Want to go say hi in a bit? The clone of. JT's clone appeared and bowed respectfully. You've returned, Master. JT acknowledged him. Yes, you've worked hard. I'll call on you again soon. Now, return to your post. The clone obeyed. As you command. Red walked in from outside, and JT saw her. She clicked her tongue in annoyance, avoiding JT's gaze. Go was like a child. She was overjoyed to see Red, completely oblivious to the tense atmosphere. Go was like a little bird, hopping around Red and chirping non-stop. Are you doing okay? Is that smell? You've been smoking. Again, haven't you? Yeah, the Red tribe really has a thing for unhealthy habits, huh? Red had heard enough. She clamped the little brat's mouth shut. You little punk. Red exploded. She yelled, Are you trying to piss me off? Shut your trap before I rip you out. By the roots. Got it? Gold pouted. Red, you're so violent. A moment later, JT settled the situation, and the three of them sat on the sofa opposite him. He began to question them. How old are you all? One by one, they answered. Green replied, I'm 20. Go said cheerfully. I'm 10. When it was Red's turn, she refused to answer, so JT answered for her. Summer is 15 years old. Gold puffed out her chest, showing off her well-developed figure. Our kind matures faster than humans, so stop treating me like a child. Red stared intently at the bragging girl. Gold then asked, But you just called Red Summer. Is that a nickname? Red raised an eyebrow. I don't know, Green quickly explained. That's the name he gave her. I'm Spring. Gold was still curious. Huh? But we haven't even had our coming-of-age ceremony yet. How can he give us names? Besides, if you were going to name someone, you wouldn't. Pick something so simple. The girl continued chatting with Green. So I guess that makes me Autumn, right? JT confirmed. That's right. From now on, your name is Autumn. And that thing, when it's born, will be winter. Gold looked down at the necklace she was wearing, on her chest. Gold continued to ask, "You knew this was a blue's egg?" JT knew even more than that. "Yes, it's a polymorph, isn't it? It's about to hatch, so be careful." The young girl was amazed by JT's vast knowledge. "Wow, you're human, but is there really nothing you don't know? How do you know so much?" JT replied coldly. "You don't need to know that." JT rested his chin on his hand and announced seriously, "Since you're all here, I'll make this clear one more time. From now on, you only need to follow one rule. Play as you like, but do not leave the fenced area." Gold asked, "What do you mean by that?" JT explained, "It means don't disappear from my sight." He clarified further, "All of your games will be managed by me, and will only take place where I can see you." Red sighed. "Honestly, you sound like a dictator." As soon as she said it, Red realized the two next to her were staring at her. "What? Is there a problem?" Green stood up from the sofa. "Understood. So as long as we play nearby, it's fine, right?" She looked just like a gentle mother. "Kids, want to go out for a bit? Since we're living here now, we need to go out and buy some necessities." Hearing that, Go's eyes lit up with excitement. "Ooh, that sounds fun." Red picked her ear, a mischievous look on her face. "We don't have any money. How are we supposed to shop? Although, robbing a place for cash sounds fun too." JT tossed Green a wallet. "Don't worry about money. Just go have fun." She took the wallet and asked politely, "Thank you, sir. Is there a spending limit?" JT turned his back and walked away, leaving only a few words behind. "As much as you want." With JT's permission, the three of them began to tear through the shopping malls. By evening, JT's notification panel was flooded with messages about charges to his account. The three had bought so much stuff that bags were piled high inside the house. Green approached to return the wallet to JT. She said timidly, She sat down next to him. "I'm sorry, sir. We spent too much, didn't we? I actually wanted to buy you some clothes too, but the card maxed out, so I couldn't." JT took the wallet back. "It's fine." Go's voice rang out. "Master, look at me." JT looked up at the sound of her voice. The young girl was decked out in a variety of items they had just bought, from a muse-like style to streetwear to simple outfits. "What do you think? Pretty, right? There were so many nice things. I just bought a ton." The girl held up her hand to show off a smartwatch. "I bought this too. It's just like yours." JT gave a simple compliment. "It suits you." Go blushed happily. "Thank you, you're the best." Seeing the two of them looking so friendly, Red's face grew pensive. She also raised the hand wearing her new watch and asked shyly, "Was this bought for me?" Then she scratched her head and picked up a sword. "And this too." "It's true my sword was broken and useless." JT asked, "Do you like it?" "I made sure to buy a high-quality one." Red turned away. "At least it's not junk." Gold ran out from the dressing room, carrying a few bags of clothes. "I bought some clothes for you too, sis. Try them on." Red was annoyed. She snapped, "Who's your sister? I don't need them." Green spoke softly to JT. "Summer just isn't good at expressing herself. She's actually very grateful." JT was relieved. "That's good to hear." He turned his head and asked, "Gold, did you not buy anything? Why aren't you holding anything?" Green pointed to an item on the table. "I bought something too." "That? On the dining table." JT was confused. "A flower pot?" On the table was a small flower pot, its flower not yet bloomed. Green walked over to the table. "Growing plants makes people happy, you know?" JT still didn't understand her meaning. "What do you mean?" She picked up the pot and said gently, "Because it will bloom." Green cherished the pot in her hands. "It'll be unforgettable, won't it?" Her eyes would sparkle forever. Suddenly, she remembered something. Green turned her head. "Ah, that's right. I'm curious about something." JT asked, "What is it?" She was questioning JT's conditions. "But you know, for us, playing isn't just about having fun and eating. Is there a way to fully enjoy the game within the boundaries you've set?" As if he'd prepared for the question, JT immediately replied, "Of course." He held out a piece of paper. "How would you all like to try going to school?" Outside, Gold and Red had been listening to the whole conversation, and they both peeked in. Gold was curious about school. Night had fallen. They're back. Red stretched. "Oh man, it was just one interview. What took so long?" Green looked around. "Huh? He's not here?" Gold suddenly said, "Hey, sis. I just thought of something terrible. What if you two pass and I'm the only one who fails? Would I be the only one who can't get into L's?" Red snapped. "This kid has been saying nothing but unlucky things. Someone stuffed some bread in that pig's mouth." Gold pouted. Is it because I'm a pig that I'm going to fail? JT walked in from behind. You all worked hard on the interview. Hearing this, Gold threw herself into his arms, bursting into tears. Sir, I'm sure I failed. He comforted her. Don't worry, you didn't fail. Red asked where he'd been. JT held out a paper bag. I just went to pick this up. The little one next to him started sniffing. It smells so good. What is it? He replied. Something you like. Gold's eyes lit up. Bread or macarons? JT answered mysteriously. Something even better than that. On tonight's dinner show, we are honored to invite a special guest. Please welcome the global pop star, B.E. Baby. Hello everyone. Thank you for inviting me to such a wonderful stage. The MC asked. Miss B.E., do you know what tonight's show is about? Gold replied. Of course. This is a place where I can enjoy delicious food. I'm really looking forward to it. The MC introduced. Exactly. On tonight's show, world-class chefs will prepare our guests' favorite dish right on the spot. Miss B.E., what's your favorite food? Rumor has it you live on nothing but morning dew. Is that true? Gold laughed. Oh, I'm human too, you know. Who could possibly live on just dew? Gold thought. Let's see. My favorite food is. An image of fried chicken with sauce and a Coke appeared instantly. Gold drooled. It smells so tempting. It must be delicious. Red asked. Hey, I thought you said this was your favorite food. What's wrong? Is this the first time you've seen it? The little one said cheerfully. Yeah, from now on, it's going to be my favorite. Red was puzzled. It's just fried chicken. What's all the fuss about? Green spoke up. Aren't you eating with us, sir? JT said. No. You all go ahead and eat. She blushed, shyly pleading, please, eat with us. Outside on the balcony, the sky was dark, and a quiet stillness filled the air. JT stood there, taking a call. Hello? On the other end, hello, we're calling from the Els Academy admissions office. Are you the guardian of Yu Bom? He replied, yes, that's correct. They informed him. There's a small issue regarding the recent interview. An issue? Has her guardian heard from Yu Bom yet? I haven't. Yu Bom received a perfect score in the admissions interview. The interviewers were all unanimous in their praise, so they'd like to recommend Yu Bom to be the valedictorian and give the oath at this year's entrance ceremony. JT asked, did you already make this offer directly to Bom? They replied, yes. The interviewers were so excited that they made the offer directly to the candidate. The problem is, Bom refused. This is a rare opportunity, so if her guardian could perhaps persuade her, JT refused. I'm sorry, but I won't. If that's her decision, then it's my decision too. Hey, but I'm hanging up now. Just then, Red also stepped out from inside. Was that call about her? JT reminded her, call her Bom. She replied, sarcastically, what? Just hearing the name Bom gives me goosebumps. You're an old man? You still like playing house? He said, annoyed. What are you trying to say? Red looked at the cigarette in her hand, thinking about something. Why did you bring us to Els? She asked again. JT gazed into the distance. So you all can do what you want. Red said bluntly. I want to fight. Are there a lot of strong people there? It's a gathering of the global elite, so of course. But they're still just a bunch of kids. He smiled. You're just a kid, too. Red's brow furrowed, her gaze turning sharp. She decisively flicked her cigarette off the balcony. Have a proper fight with me. I know you're strong, but I want to know exactly how strong. If you're going to look down on me, then show me what you're really made of. JT looked at Red, his expression thoughtful, saying nothing. Just go inside and eat some chicken. Red flared up. You're so damn boring, he said coolly. Yeah, she got even angrier. Yeah? What do you mean? Yeah, just get lost. Gold came out and offered her a piece of chicken. Sis, just try a bite. Red was absolutely furious. I already said I'm not eating. You eat it yourself. But her hand still took the chicken. The moment she took a bite, Red's eyes widened in amazement as she praised the chicken. This is so good. It's amazing. Els is an educational academy built on the giant floating island of Hati Elting, which flies around the world. A place that trains children who possess Gaho and Ne, special abilities. But the students at Els are all children of tycoons and prestigious families, or they're scouted by elite training centers. Public opinion criticizes the place as being only for the privileged. Gold exclaimed, wow, this school really is top tier. I heard only rich kids or nobles can get in. The little one chirped excitedly. Do you think he's secretly the young master of some conglomerate? He never scolds us for spending a ton of money, right? Green seemed to agree. It's hard to tell from his appearance. You seem to be in high spirits. Anyway, it's a good thing we both passed, right? Green jumped up happily. Yeah, I thought. I was the only one who failed, so I'm really happy. The uniform is nice too. The little girl's face froze. But where are Yoriam and Mr. JT? Green stroked his chin thoughtfully. Yoriam went to take the practical exam at Blue Dragon High, and he went with her as her guardian. Gold looked bewildered, his face full of doubt. A guardian is here to supervise promising but inexperienced cadets. An adult from an agency or a clan accompanies them in that role. It makes sense, though. It'd be dangerous if Yoriam wasn't kept in check. But does Yoriam have to retake the test? Green replied, I heard it's a practice match between the reserve cadets. Gold got excited. Oh, then we have to go watch, right? Green said casually. I already asked. We can't. Gold was sad to hear that. Aw, why not? Green forced a smile and hesitated slightly, because if we all go, we'll make too much noise. Suddenly, someone spoke up. Are those this year's new students? Which clan are they from? At Blue Dragon High, the students were engaged in a fierce battle. The crowd roared with excitement. JT sat silently amidst the noisy crowd. So what if you get hit? Just do as you were taught. Just follow the instructions. Cheon smirked with a dark smile. Ha ha. Esteemed parents, I understand how you feel, but please calm down. If you act like that, the reserve cadets will only become more stressed. In the crowd of spectators, someone asked a question. Are you a guardian? My apologies for the late introduction. I am the head professor of Blue Dragon High, Keon. It's a pleasure to work with you all. The audience replied in unison. Yes, we'll be in your care. The crowd buzzed with excitement. How can someone be so handsome and elegant? His personality seems great too, someone else retorted. A great personality? He's skilled and rich. On top of that, he's a war hero. He glanced over silently. Contestant 124 and number 7, please enter. After the announcement, Red gripped her wooden sword tightly. She walked, arrogantly, slowly advancing. This is so damn boring. Her opponent looked at her with a frown, her eyes filled with suspicion. Red scowled. I'm so gonna run away from home. The two stood motionless, facing each other on the fighting stage. Below in the stands, people were chattering nonstop. Hey, who are you betting on to win between Sofia Borakova and the red-haired kid? His friend sitting next to him quickly sized them up. They're both pretty, but I like the redhead more. Hearing this, his friend couldn't help but scold him. I asked you who you think is gonna win. He then chuckled, raised an eyebrow, glanced at his friend, and smirked. Well, Sofia, of course. Looking up at Sofia's cold, indifferent demeanor on the stage, he couldn't help but be impressed. She was a member of REAT before entering the academy. REAT is Russia's monster hunting special task force, famous for its achievements in the Great War, and especially notorious for its torturous training program. At that moment, outside the barrier, Mikhailov, with a fierce expression, stared intently at the stage and shouted, Sofia, everyone has high hopes for you. He gripped the barrier, cheering frantically. You can do it. You will definitely win. The security staff carefully appeared behind Mikhailov, hastily reminding him, Mr. Mikhailov, guardians are not allowed to be here. Sofia heard the commotion outside the arena and was left speechless. Suddenly, a clear, provocative voice snapped her back to reality. Your daddy's really worried about you, huh? Yoriam was incredibly arrogant and confident with the sword in her hand. She sneered at Sofia. There's still time to run back to daddy. You little daddy's boy. No, you're a girl, so it should be daddy's little girl, right? Sofia paid no mind to Yoriam's taunts and calmly retorted, surprising her. You should shut your mouth. Sofia's face darkened, her eyes glaring menacingly at Yoriam as they flashed with light. Do you really want to die? Seeing her expression, Yoriam took it as a challenge and became excited. Yeah, that's it. Come on, bring it on. The two friends in the stands felt a chill run down their spines, seeing the girl's attitudes. So scary. She's really from Riot. He stared wide-eyed in terror. But that redhead is no pushover either. JT sat nearby, seriously observing their match. The announcement rang out. Contestants, 124 and number 7. Take your positions. After hearing the referee's voice, Sofia immediately clenched her fists, ready to fight. Yoriam, on the other hand, was much more relaxed, as if certain she would win this match. Along with the sound of the whistle, the referee's announcement rang out. The match begins. As soon as the words were spoken, Sofia lunged forward like a flash, attacking Yoriam, which greatly surprised her. But she immediately reacted, stepping back and using Dagtu, her arm, to block Sofia's attack. She gripped Sofia's fist, smirking slightly as she assessed her not bad speed. Then, Yoriam used her other hand to swing the wooden sword in a surprise slash towards her. Sofia nimbly dodged the blow, At the same time, she spun around and kicked hard at Yoriam's temple, surprising her. Yoriam couldn't dodge this attack in time and could only block it with her arm, leaning back. As she leaned back to evade, Sophia's attack followed swiftly. Seeing the blow about to land, she screamed in horror. "Ah, my clothes." Yoriam stumbled back, shouting at her in a rage. "I just bought this thing. You've gone too far." Sophia paid her no mind, her legs still braced from the force of her last attack. Her body felt as light as a feather as she stood on the arena floor. She shifted her feet slightly. Then, before Yoriam could even recover, Sophia quickly gathered her strength and launched herself toward her opponent's position. Sophia unleashed a continuous barrage of incredibly powerful and skillful punches, but with every blow she threw, Yoriam managed to dodge. She evaded with incredible grace and agility. As she dodged, her gaze fell upon the protective mesh surrounding the fighting ring. The protective mesh was incredibly sturdy. Using its tension, she kicked off the surface with all her might. Then, Yoriam used the momentum to pivot and face Sophia's incoming attack head-on. She let out a thrilled laugh, excitedly raising the wooden sword in her hand and slamming it down. Sophia reacted instantly, using both her arms to block Yoriam's strike, but the blow carried an immense amount of force. The bones in both of her arms took a direct hit, immediately fracturing and cracking. Sophia felt a surge of pain in her arms, her face contorted, the muscles in her cheeks tightening as she let out a quiet gasp. Seeing Sophia's pained expression only made Yoriam more excited, plunging her deeper into the thrill of the battle. The two stood motionless in the ring for a moment, and a quiet stillness fell over the space. Then, in the next instant, Yoriam seemed to teleport. Yoriam instantly appeared behind Sophia. To Sophia's complete astonishment, she spoke up in a mocking tone. "Hey there, little missy with the bangs." Her face was alight with excitement, and it looked like she was pouring all of her strength into her fist. With that same jeering tone, she asked, "Fighting is pretty fun, huh?" Yoriam's fist shot out and slammed into Sophia's face. She took the full force of the blow, her body flying backward and crashing hard against the barrier fence. After regaining her senses, Sophia immediately spat out a mouthful of blood. At that moment, the tip of the wooden sword was pointed directly at her forehead. This left her completely stunned. Yoriam stood before her, holding the wooden sword, looking at her with absolute confidence. An announcement rang out. "The match is over. Contestant 124 is the winner." As soon as the referee's announcement ended, Yoriam covered her mouth and let out a provocative laugh. "You were acting all high and mighty before, but look at you now, just a pile of trash." Sophia was dazed, her eyes widening in anger at the outcome as she watched her walk away. Yoriam turned and left, muttering under her breath, "What do they even mean by global elite? They're all just a bunch of garbage." Michael Lopp and the medical staff rushed over to Sophia's side. The two people watching from below couldn't help but be horrified by the scene. Did Sophia really lose that badly? But the match seemed pretty even at the start. Hearing this, his friend next to him whispered in disbelief, "Even? What are you talking about? The redhead doesn't even have a scratch on her. She was just toying with her the whole time." The chatter from the crowd below the ring began to spread. Is that red-haired girl really that strong? If you ask me, Sophia was always useless. Sophia sat motionless on the arena floor, receiving medical treatment. She overheard the gossip swirling around her. Actually, she's just a reserve member from R, probably just for PR. She's not that skilled, but she's pretty. So they probably just gave her the armband for show. Sophia gritted her teeth. Her face hung low. She kept her head down, facing the criticism and ridicule from everyone around her. The medic looked over at Michael Lopp. The staff member reported her condition. "We've administered first aid. She'll be all right. Both of her arms are fractured." Her limp hand suddenly clenched into a tight fist, unwilling to accept this outcome. Sophia's voice, filled with anger, rang out. She was trembling uncontrollably. "It's not over. I'm still fine." Seeing her like this, Michael Lopp couldn't help but let out a small chuckle. He approached her and spoke in a soft, comforting voice. "Sophia, you did your best. It's just a shame you weren't strong enough to defeat that opponent." His voice remained calm and steady. "But I'm not disappointed in you. Encountering an opponent like this is a blessing in disguise." But Michael Lopp didn't notice the expression on Sophia's face changing more and more. She was staring intently at the dagger on his leg. She glared at it with a terrifying look on her face. Michael Lopp was still gently trying to console her. "Failure is what forges a person and makes them stronger." He continued his lecture with his eyes closed. "I'll report this to my superiors." Just then, the medic's confused voice cut in. "Sir, where is the contestant's guardian?" Both of them were completely shocked by Sophia's actions. She held the dagger, seething with rage and muttering, "I haven't given up. I just lost my footing for a second, The dagger in her hand suddenly began to glow. The light spread all around. Her voice rang out, catching even Yoriam completely by surprise. "It's not over. Where do you think you're going?" Just as she turned back, a sharp pain stabbed into Yoriam's back. Sophia had stabbed Yoriam with the dagger, leaving her utterly shocked. J.T.'s face darkened as he witnessed this unexpected turn of events. Yoriam's eyes went wide at Sophia's despicable act, and she gritted her teeth and screamed. Veins popped on her face as she let out a deafening roar. "Die, you bitch!" Lost her balance and immediately fell hard to the ground. Eoriam gripped the blood-soaked dagger embedded in her body and sighed. She looked at her wound as if she felt no pain, and even laughed out loud. "So, you want to fight, huh? Bitch." But then, she was startled and looked towards Sophia. She had gone berserk, charging straight at Eoriam and attacking wildly. Eoriam nimbly dodged Sophia's attack, causing her to stumble to the side. Immediately after, she grabbed a handful of her hair and yanked it back. The pain from having her hair pulled made Sophia's eyes widen as she cried out. Eoriam didn't give her a moment to recover before punching her hard. "You're so dead." Her fist slammed directly into Sophia's face. Eoriam rained, blow after blow on Sophia, leaving her covered in blood. Everyone who saw this screamed in terror. Isn't anyone going to stop them? Eoriam delivered one final, powerful punch, sending Sophia's body flying into the row of chairs behind her, horrifying the crowd. Sophia's face was swollen as she lay unconscious. Eoriam pulled the dagger from her own body and, step by step, approached her. "It's not over yet." Her eyes turned red, looking incredibly fierce as she advanced. "I'm going to give you back exactly what you did to me." Just then, an arm suddenly shot out and grabbed her dagger-wielding wrist. Mikhailop, with a ferocious expression, held her hand tightly and yelled, "That's enough. Stop right now." Eoriam, being stopped by him, was also furious. "You're not letting me go?" Seeing the chaotic scene, Quan immediately gave a loud command. "Mages, create a combat space now." Pause the interview. Hearing this, the mages immediately worked together to create the combat space. They divided the area and joined forces to form a space around the two. A magic circle appeared around Mikhailop and Eoriam. Inside the combat space, he slammed the dagger onto the floor and shouted, "Why are you targeting my daughter?" Eoriam, completely unafraid of him, stood her ground and argued right back at Mikhailop. "Who told that bitch to provoke me first?" Hearing this, he scolded, "So you were planning to kill Sophia?" Hearing his defensive tone, she immediately flew into a rage. "Am I supposed to just stand still and let her hit me?" Mikhailop grew angrier as he spoke. "At your level, you could have just subdued her lightly." Eoriam looked furious, her voice growing louder. "What nonsense are you talking about? You should worry about keeping a better eye on your own daughter." Kuan slowly entered, his tone conciliatory. Now, everyone, please calm down. The tension is getting too high." He chuckled softly and turned to console Eoriam. "Besides, student Yu Eoriam, my staff has already gone to find your guardian. You should behave and go get your wound treated first, okay?" Hearing him say that, she turned to him, still fuming, and yelled, "Behave? Are you kidding me? I'm still furious." Kon wasn't bothered by her attitude. Instead, he gently tried to soothe her. "I understand how you feel, Eoriam, but we can't let the situation get any worse." Hearing that, Eoriam looked a little confused. Seeing her calm down, Quan moved closer to explain, "If you continue to cause trouble, I won't be able to protect a student like you anymore. Your entire clan will be implicated." Then he leaned in and reminded her in a low voice, "The Yu clan, wasn't it? It won't just be you, Eoriam." His words made her remember the radiant faces of gold and green. Eoriam's expression slowly fell, filled with resignation and fear. "If others were affected just because of you, you wouldn't be able to live with yourself, would you?" Quan had hit her weak spot. His face showed satisfaction as he smiled faintly. "So, let's just wait for your guardian to arrive." Suddenly, a deep voice rang out from the side. "There's no need to look anymore," JT said as he walked in, surprising him with his introduction. "I am Yu Jitae, that kid's guardian." His face was weary, dark, and cold as he spoke. "Don't pressure an injured student. Come out and talk to me." Both of them were stunned by his sudden appearance. Seeing JT, Eoriam became even more timid, pressing her lips together without saying a word. Outside, the large building in the middle of the school grounds, Quan slowly brought out tea and introduced it to Mikhailop and JT. "This is a famous oolong tea from Taiwan. I hope it suits your tastes." With a gentle expression, he smiled faintly, trying to make peace between the two. "They say tea helps calm the soul." Kwon continuously and cautiously observed JT. Yu Jitae of the Yu clan, seeing how easily he broke through the combat space. He must be a high-ranking mage. He looked at the man's cold and unfamiliar face, lost in thought. But I've never heard of this clan before. I'll need to investigate thoroughly. Kwon sat between the two men, who had been silent the entire time. He sat down, his tone a bit awkward, unsure of where to begin. His first words were meant to soothe both sides. First of all, I am very sorry for what happened to both parties. Mikhailop still seemed furious, glaring intently at him. JT, with an emotionless face, stared coldly back at him. He remembered Sophia's swollen face and couldn't help but sigh in relief. Fortunately, neither of them was seriously injured. I heard Eorium has already been discharged from the hospital. Kwon raised his teacup towards them, trying to explain and reconcile. So, you don't need to. Don't blow this out of proportion. We'll be seeing a lot of each other at the Azure Dragon Academy anyway. Let's just end this peacefully here. If you two agree, I'll handle the rest. Mikhailop's expression was incredibly serious, but you could see it had softened somewhat. Then, he let out a sigh, lowered his gaze, and spoke first. The fault originated with my daughter, so I apologize. I am Mikhailop, Sophia's guardian. He apologized with utmost sincerity and continued to explain. Sophia is still young and immature, so in this matter, she let her emotions get the better of her reason. Before Mikhailop could finish, JT cut him off. I don't accept an apology from a guardian. Hearing this, Mikhailop instantly erupted and shot to his feet. JT didn't flinch at his ferocity and continued. What meaning is there in an apology from someone else's mouth? He didn't understand what JT meant, but couldn't help but issue a threat. You're being stubborn. We're both guardians. Just accept the apology and let's be done with it. Don't you know which organization I belong to? JT remained perfectly calm, staring at him as he inquired, We're not the same. Is that how people apologize where you're from? Mikhailop flew into a rage and shouted, Are you telling me to bring an injured child here to apologize? Hearing that, JT immediately agreed without a hint of hesitation. Mikhailop was so furious he roared. This guy is completely insane. Kon, sitting between them, heard their exchange and hastily tried to mediate. Calm down, guardians. JT continued to state his point. I didn't come here because of that girl. I just want to know why you didn't stop the child from drawing her sword and charging in at that moment. Hearing the suspicion in the question, Mikhailop's face darkened, and he yelled, It was a surprise situation. When JT heard his answer, his cold words echoed throughout the room. A surprise? What a weak excuse. Enraged, Mikhailop advanced on him as JT spoke his next words. Blaming a child for your own incompetence. Aren't you ashamed? He stepped forward, grabbed JT by the collar, and said in a low voice, Hey buddy, there's a limit to how nicely I'm going to talk. His eyes turned blue, and a blue light flickered around the two of them. Mikhailop's tone carried an intense threat. Do you really want to drag our organizations into this petty fight, a family nobody's ever even heard of? Mikhailop's face was contorted with rage. Suddenly, an icy chill ran down Mikhailop's entire body, terrifying him. He immediately jumped back. JT's voice rang out softly. Sharp blade. That was almost dangerous. The man stared at him in horror. Since when? Mikhailop looked at the dagger on the table, horrified by JT's casual remark. With a scabbard this loose, you didn't even know when the child secretly drew her weapon? He stared at the scabbard in utter disbelief. But I had my senses heightened to their absolute limit. Suddenly, JT's cold voice quietly called his name. Mikhailop. JT circled behind him, gently patting his back as he whispered, You should stick to crowded streets, and remember to avoid the quiet places. That casual remark and the dagger embedded deep in the table left Mikhailop frozen in terror. His face darkened completely, as he felt the killing intent radiating from JT quickly grabbed his suit jacket from the chair and left the meeting room. If we're done here, I'll be leaving. After he left, the two men remaining in the room were frozen in horror. Kwon, with a terrified look on his face, suddenly let out an unconscious laugh. Leaving the room, JT noticed Eorium standing outside. She stood there with a pouting face, looking extremely worried. He turned to leave, but couldn't help but ask with concern, Are you all right? Eorium heard him and replied, It's just a light scratch. Besides, you know, the Red Clan is very resilient. His quiet words made her fall into a thoughtful silence. That's a relief. Right after, she stepped forward to ask, Hey, do you think I was wrong? Without waiting for JT's answer, Eorium told him how she felt. It's just, I think everything that happened was my fault. She seemed a bit embarrassed, ruffling her hair in confusion. It feels a little unfair too, but now I feel like, I wish I had been more mature back then. J.T. immediately cut off her train of thought, which greatly surprised her. No, you did great. Then J.T. turned to look at her and gave her a serious instruction. Next time, make sure you kill her where no one can see. Yoriam stood frozen, watching his retreating figure. A look of pure happiness spread across her face as she let out a sigh of relief. Then she slowly followed JT, unable to resist, exclaiming, "Are you really telling me to do that? Don't you regret it later?" JT strode down the hallway with Red. He told Yoriam to go home and pack her things. She asked, confused, "Why? Am I going somewhere?" JT said as he walked, "You're moving into the dorms." He scratched his head. "Ah, so I'm living in the dorms, huh?" Just imagining that kid's excited face, like a newly hatched chick. Haha. Suddenly, a voice called out, making them both turn around. Guardian Yu Jitae clasped his hands and smiled. "Could I have a word with you for a moment?" J.T. was blunt. "I thought we already settled everything." The man replied, "Yes, I know, but there's something important I want to discuss regarding student EU Aorium, so she should listen in as well." Red picked her ear, not caring in the slightest. "I don't want to hear some useless lecture." Mon laughed. "Haha, it's not a lecture, it's a very beneficial offer." She was surprised by the question. "Yoram, would you like to become the freshman representative for the Azure Dragon Academy?" "The Dragon Academy?" Red asked again. "The freshman representative." He pictured her as a prim and proper student representative. "That's right, you'll be the face of the academy, with a huge scholarship, rare artifacts, and even the chance to be on TV. JT was suspicious. "This is a rather sudden offer. Professor, do you even have the authority to make this decision?" Quan replied, "Don't worry, I have a very close relationship with the vice principal, Mazun." His face darkened. "Please consider it carefully, Sir Yu." JT. Faced with Quan's tempting words, JT remained silent. This is a rare opportunity. Others wouldn't get a chance like this so easily. He thought to himself, of course they're close. Both the fiend Mazun and this guy are fiends. Fiends are different from superhumans blessed by grace. They are beings who have accepted the abyss, thirsting for blood, slaughter, and dark desires. That is their nature. The world was once nearly destroyed by these monsters. In his first and second lives, JT also lost something precious because of them. So when he first saw this professor, he thought about disposing of this fiend thousands of times, but in the end, he held back. JT thought, because this guy needs to die a much more painful death. He said, "I understand what you mean." JT then looked at Red, "But what's important is this student's opinion. I'm just her guardian." He walked over to Red. "Ha, that's right. Everything depends on her decision." Quan placed a hand on her shoulder. "Aorium, the Azure Dragon Academy is about to undergo many changes, especially during the year-end event. I want you to lead the student body." Then he grabbed Red's hand and said earnestly, "Let's paint a new future for the academy together, shall we?" She then calmly sighed and replied, "No." Quan couldn't believe it. "No? Did I hear you correctly?" Red said, annoyed. "You heard me just fine." Then she turned to JT and said, "Let's go home." "You just said we had to prepare for the move," he asked in surprise. "Wait, then why did you even come to the interview?" Red replied, "Because I was bored. I was just lying around in my room all day." Quan, sweating, pressed on. "And so?" Then she yawned nonchalantly and said, "My hands were getting restless, so I just wanted to mess around a bit for fun." The last thread of Quan's sanity snapped, and he struggled to contain his rage. Then Quan suddenly noticed something. He said, "Aorium, look down there." Hearing this, Red and JT also glanced down. Below them was a crowd of reporters gathered in the courtyard. "What's that? Are those reporters?" Quan explained. "They're reporters from all over, who've come to hear my opinion on today's incident, with just one word from me." He clasped his hands behind his back, implying to them that I can decide your future right here. Understand? But she quickly ignored him and kept walking. "Nope, don't understand. Goodbye." Quan could only let out a dry laugh. He silently watched their retreating backs, then dropped his friendly facade. "Don't you come to regret this later." The reporters were startled. "Hey, she's coming out. Isn't that Yu Aorium?" The reporters scrambled towards her. "I'm a reporter from CT. Please tell us your view on the stabbing incident that occurred here 2 hours ago. This is NSS News. We'd like to ask if you have some kind of conflict with Sofia Bakkova." Red was taken aback by the flashing lights and the mics and questions being shoved in her face. "Do you have anything to say about this incident?" she said. "What is wrong with these people? A reporter held up a mic and said, "Your interview scene is going viral online in Korea right now. Is it true that you caused this disturbance to attract attention for your family?" The questions kept coming, making her angry. Yu Aorium, please give us a short comment. Why did you apply to the Azure Dragon Academy? What do you plan to do here? Seeing this, JT spoke up. Stop harassing an injured child. Red's face darkened, then she smirked. All right, fine. If you people want to hear it that badly, I'll answer. She snatched the mic, surprising the reporter. What am I doing here, you ask? Then, Red smiled and said something completely unfit for broadcast right into the mic. Elsewhere, the sky was clear and sunny over the dormitory. Lei and Gold were excited. Whoa, the little girl jumped for joy. Mom, it's so big. Gold quickly ran upstairs. Are we really going to live here? Is the prettiest room mine? Red looked at the little girl and said, Hey, the biggest room belongs to me. The little girl opened a door, and Gold's eyes sparkled with surprise. Whoa, the little girl ran into the room, exclaiming, What is this? This room is amazing. Gold ran all over the room. The bed is huge, and it has the latest TV, too. The natural light is so perfect. Gold stood before the balcony door. This is decent. I'll take this room then. Suddenly, Red was standing behind her, smiling. This balcony looks perfect for a smoke. This room is mine. This made the little girl protest. What? I called it first. You said the biggest room was yours. The one next door is bigger. After a new lump appeared on her head, Gold reluctantly said, Fine, you can have the room. Red smiled. Good girl. In another room, an egg was being sprayed with water. Green was taking care of the egg. She said gently, Hello, my little baby. JT, from behind her, asked, Why are you watering it? She replied, It's like prenatal care. Blue dragons love water, so when the egg, the dragon's about to hatch, so the transformation spell will be released automatically. Green turned her head and asked, Oh, have you heard the news, sir? Everyone's been buzzing about Yoriam lately. He asked, Yoriam? She said, Apparently, that old interview of his is going viral. Looking excited, she held the egg worriedly. Oh my gosh, you didn't hear anything, did you? On the other side, Red was lounging on the chair, completely unfazed. Those people are so dramatic. We were born this way. What's the big deal? Gold asked cluelessly. What is it, sis? She tilted her head back and laughed. Oh, you want to know? The little girl replied. Yes. Do you know? Red's face turned mischievous. Of course I do. Oh, sweetie, looks like I'll have to give you the talk. Seeing this, the little girl got scared. No thanks. My mom said girls don't need to know too much about that stuff. Red stuck her tongue out teasingly. You don't get to refuse, sweetie. She walked over to Gold, who was covering her ears. I mean, I'm going to teach you all about it. Wait, I said I don't want to hear it. Red gripped the little girl's hands tightly, making Gold scream, Okay, I'll listen. A desperate scream echoed. Save me, sir. This left JT speechless, while Green quickly put earmuffs on the egg. The sky was blue, and birds were chirping on the branches. Red was sleeping on a large bed. As sunlight shone on her beautiful face, someone suddenly came rushing up the contextor stairs. Gold opened the door and shouted, Sis, wake up. Something big is happening. This caused Red to groggily wake up. Huh? She propped herself up. What's going on so early in the morning? I was up all night. I'm freaking exhausted. The little girl heard this and said, Hey, up all night? You were watching those weird things again, weren't you? Red smirked. Yep, watched 20 of them. Gold chirped. I knew it. After that, the two of them went downstairs together. Anyway, now's not the time to talk about that. She yawned. If this isn't important, I'm gonna mince you. Red noticed. What's this? She looked at the three of them and asked, Why is everyone gathered here so early in the morning? Green called out, Yoriam? The egg on the pillow moved. Looks like Jian is about to be born, huh? Then, the shell cracked. The whole group focused on the egg, on the birth of a new life. The last time JT witnessed the birth of a new life, it was not a pretty sight. A weak person reached out her hand. Please, she begged, save my child. JT said, It's too late. Captain, she cried desperately, my baby isn't breathing anymore. JT said, It seems the baby passed away right after birth. JT looked at the baby. It was because of the poor environment. The hospital was destroyed by the war. He listened in silence. If only there had been a proper medical facility nearby. That memory was not pleasant at all. JT thought to himself, I thought I would never remember that day again, but why is it coming back to me now? Red noticed. Oh, the egg is hatching. A tiny arm appeared, and so did a pair of wings, she said, watching the baby dragon hatch from the egg. Oh, its head is poking out. Green said gently, Welcome to the world. Beside her, Gold watched with delight. The little green dragon broke out of its shell. Guion, the dragon, was carefully cleaned. JT saw this and asked, You're quite skilled at caring for newborns. Where did you learn that? Green replied, My mother used to do this for me. I'm supposed to lick it too, but I'll pass. She asked, Would you like to hold him, sir? He replied, No. Gold said excitedly, Hey, I want to hold him. I want to hold him. Green handed Winter to the little girl. His skin is still delicate, so be gentle. Gold nodded. Then she hugged him, tightly in her arms. Aw, this is so healing. Gold suddenly had an idea. The little girl smiled. Sis, you actually want to hold him too, don't? Red denied it. What? No way. If you want to hold him, then you hold him. Then the little girl handed him to Red. Just hold him once. Come on, sis. She was startled. Hey, are you crazy? What are you doing all of a sudden? Green smiled. Be gentle. Winter let out a yawn. Red's heart was instantly stolen. Gold laughed. See why you should have held him? Red admitted. Yeah, well, he is kinda cute. Then, Red asked JT. Hey, we've all held him now. It's your turn, sir. Gold also chimed in. That's right. If you don't hold him, Jian will be sad. Red smirked. Ha, trying to act all high and mighty by yourself? She provoked him. Fine, I'll just toss him. You better catch him yourself. If he gets hurt, it's not my responsibility. You know. Gold was shocked. Are you really going to throw him? Red grinned. I have only one goal in this house. You know what it is? Then she gathered her strength, preparing to throw Winter. It's that I want to see that block of ice over there. Panic. The little girl panicked. Ah, you're really crazy. Before she could throw him, he took Winter from her arms. Whoa, that was an amazing catch, sir. Red pouted, bored. The little girl said, You're really not normal at all, sis. Green asked, Since you're already holding him, why don't you try petting him, sir? JT hesitated for a moment, then slowly reached out. He gently touched Winter's forehead. Like this? Gold snapped a picture of the rare moment. What are you doing? The little girl replied, Hee, this is such a rare sight. Moments like these should be captured in a photo, right? Green held up a rose. Then let's take a group photo to commemorate Jian's birth. Gold asked. Okay, sure, but what's with that flower? Green smiled. It's a photo prop, which made the two of them yell. Gold was curious. The flower was placed in JT's hair. Another one was placed on Winter. He was holding the baby dragon in his arms. Red said, His expression over there doesn't look too good. Green covered her mouth and laughed. What do you think? Looks good, right? Gold looked at the photo. Oh, it suits both of them perfectly. He grew impatient. Just get in the picture so we can take it quickly. Green pulled a pouting. Red, but do I really have to be in it, right? This is so embarrassing. Go on, take the picture. Eorium, Gold said. All right, get ready. 1, 2. A picture of everyone together was taken. Winter was drinking her milk. All right, Jian, are you ready? JT asked. What are you doing? Green patted the little girl's head. Since the semester hasn't started yet, I wanted to use this free time to teach her polymorph, using transfer magic. Transfer magic is a spell that teaches another person by channeling mana directly into them. The receiver can usually learn it without any cost, but the caster risks draining their own life force. Are you sure about this? Green asked as she picked Winter up. It'll be hard for her to go outside in her dragon form. She explained that Torium and Gun both learned polymorph in their human forms, but Jian hadn't learned anything yet. Winter waved her little hands. Because we grow up so fast, I want her to have some fun experiences before she gets too big. JT sat down on the sofa. Just tell me if you need my help, she sighed. What? You don't know the first thing about magic, do you? Green said. Well, I do have one request. She continued. While I'm performing the transfer, could you stay here with us? He replied. Got it. Green glanced at him. Hey, sitting so far away makes you look like you don't care. She patted the spot next to her. Come on, move closer. Don't be shy. JT replied. That's not necessary. Green rested her chin on her hand. Yes, it is. What if I get tired and drop Guion? If you're close by, you can catch her. Green whined. If Guion hits the edge of the table, I'd never be able to live with the guilt. He thought for a moment, then sighed in defeat. He then moved over and sat next to Green. I guess there's no other way, huh? Their shoulders touched. She blushed, thinking, he's so solid. JT asked, huh? Green jumped. Oh, no. I meant the sofa is a little firm, JT said. That's strange. It's made of full-grain leather. She refocused and pressed her forehead against Winter's. A blue aura emanated from her. I'm starting now. A few days later, in front of a large, luxurious house, Green was sprawled out on a sofa, completely drained of energy. Cough. It's done. JT walked over and said, you worked hard. Lying comfortably on the sofa, she replied, you worked hard too. Having to sit next to me, right? Green groggily got up to leave. Well, I'm going to my room to rest for a bit. Don't forget to feed Jian and burp her. As she was speaking, she suddenly lost her footing. If anything happens, just wake me up. Green felt dizzy. Her eyes widened in surprise. She stumbled right into his arms. JT glanced down at her and said, let me take you to your room. Green's cheeks flushed red, and she pressed her hands to her chest. She shyly avoided his gaze, carrying me princess style like this. It's a little embarrassing, JT said with a straight face. You can still joke around? Guess you're still fine. Then, Green laughed happily and asked, am I too heavy? He gave a short but sweet reply, light as a feather. She spoke again, leaving JT at a loss for words. My, I never knew you could be such a sweet talker. Inside the bedroom, Green lay quietly on the bed, breathing steadily. He held the edge of the door, tilting his head to look inside. JT gently closed the bedroom door. Suddenly, a face appeared out of nowhere. He turned and was startled by it. JT looked on and thought to himself, could it be that it's time? Between the sofas, a beam of light was gathering. As he got closer, he discovered a small girl sitting inside it. Her body gradually became clearer as the light began to fade. As soon as the light vanished, the little girl curled up, her eyes looking as if she had just woken up. JT watched the scene, a bit bewildered and silent. He hesitated slightly, his lips parting as he said, hello there. At a certain regional police station, a tall, large building stood. 3 people were crossing the street, laughing and talking. The supernatural investigation team spent months hunting those guys and couldn't catch them. But you took them all down in just a few days. Did you see the department head's face just now? It was priceless. Kim Kang pulled out a shiny gold card and looked at him. Our golden boy. JT, what do you want to eat? I'm treating the whole team to a feast today. Kirara walked up and nudged his shoulder, her voice playful. Team leader, you're using the company card anyway, right? Kim Kang flinched and gave a forced laugh. What I mean is, let's go celebrate some more. JT suddenly spoke up, making the other 2 freeze. I have to leave first. I have something personal to attend to. The man bent down to look at him and asked, why are you ditching us again? You missed the last party too. Kirara pushed up her glasses and added, you've been leaving early a lot lately, haven't you? It's really suspicious. Senior, don't tell me you have a girlfriend now? Without looking at them, he replied nonchalantly, that's not it. After saying that, JT walked off without another word, despite the 2 trying to hold him back. Well, I'll be heading out first. If you hate us, just say so. I'll try harder. You really don't have a girlfriend? I believe you. On his way, green leaves drifted down to the ground on a gentle breeze. A girl on the street was walking and chatting happily. JT approached from the opposite direction and happened to overhear the conversation. I already told him to stop sending me those stupid texts. Model. Not far away, JT was sitting on a wooden bench with his back turned. The clone approached him, placed a hand on his chest, and bowed his head. You called for me, Master. When the clone opened his eyes, he saw something that made him pause. Master. He couldn't help but wonder, looking at the little girl sitting in JT's lap. Who is that? JT turned to look at the clone and replied, it's Yugyeon. I just took her for a haircut. The clone immediately understood the little girl had transformed into her human form. Passers-by laughed and chattered. Oh, what a good little girl, lying so still in her father's arms. They look so good together, don't they? Hearing this, the clone looked at JT and asked, if it's inconvenient for you, please allow me to hold her, Master. Hearing that, the little girl's eyebrows furrowed slightly. Seeing this, the clone jumped back in shock. JT put Winter down on the ground, and she sighed. It's fine. She can walk on her own now anyway. The clone didn't press the issue and changed the subject. But why did you bring Dr. Yugyeon out by yourself? Dubom, Iram, and Goon are still at home. JT then cleared up his confusion. Dubom is tired from the effects of the transfer spell. As for the other 2, Go cheerfully rushed forward, holding out her arms. Yu-Gi-On, wanna go shopping with Big Sis? Red, on the other hand, was visibly annoyed. Don't even think about leaving her with me. Though irritated, JT maintained a calm expression. They're still just kids. The clone lowered his head, his voice soft. I understand. JT hesitated for a moment, then asked, so, what did you want to say? The clone asked back, confused. What do you mean? Suddenly, a bright light emanated from JT. Don't play dumb. I know you can transmit all your emotions and memories to me. The clone was a bit flustered, hearing his master's words. He turned his face away and replied, it's not dissatisfaction. It's just that this lowly one is questioning my purpose. Among all those who have used me, none have ever desired an ordinary life as you do. They always wanted to use me for a grander purpose, such as ordering me to kill those who needed killing, or helping them display their power when necessary. But this lifetime's master only wants to enjoy the rhythm of daily life, making it difficult for a humble servant like myself to comprehend. If my words are disrespectful, I beg your forgiveness. JT listened in silence before speaking. You are also a being with your own thoughts, so it's understandable that you'd think that way. As he was speaking, he suddenly stood up from the bench. There will come a time for you to act. For now, just continue working at the police station regularly. Your colleagues really miss you. Go have a drink with them, have some fun. Hearing the last sentence, the clone thoughtfully recalled the faces of his colleagues, knowing he would have to part with them soon. The clone accepted the order and quickly stood up to leave. As you command, Master. JT stood still, watching his receding figure grow smaller in the distance. Suddenly, a voice made him glance over. Sweetie, do you like that so much? A mother and child were walking past JT. If I knew you'd like it this much, I would have bought it sooner. The little girl beamed and said, hee hee, mommy's the best. She walked on, holding a teddy bear high in her hands. JT looked down and saw Winter's eyes sparkling as she stared at it. JT's voice made the little girl turn to look at him. You want a doll? He reached his hand into the shallowest region of the abyss and pulled out a bear. JT held it out in front of Winter. Here, although it was a little different, he placed the bear into the little girl's hands. A loving, pink aura immediately radiated from the bear. Winter's cheeks flushed pink as she looked at it with delight. Seeing this, JT asked, do you like it? The little girl unexpectedly set the teddy bear on the ground, then took slow steps toward him. Thinking Winter wanted something, JT picked her up to ask, you want another one? I'm all out. Winter's smiling face instantly fell. She placed her two tiny hands on his cheeks. The wind whistled around them. Winter pressed her forehead against JT's, making him freeze for a moment. He wondered to himself, why is she suddenly acting like this? Just then, an image from the past flashed through JT's mind. His eyes glanced down at the little girl, thinking to himself, could it be that she misunderstood the mana transfer ritual as a way of showing affection? A sudden stream of thoughts rushed through his mind. A girl being hung on a cross. JT's eyes widened as if he'd seen something horrific. Then came the times he had to fight against hordes of monsters. Though exhausted, he forced his eyes open. A swarm of monsters descended from the sky towards JT like predators. His face was lightly scratched, his eyes staring blankly ahead. JT gently closed his eyes, and the gears of fate began to turn. Back in the present, he was holding Winter in his arms, and they were looking at each other. The little girl let go of his face, looking at JT with some surprise. He unconsciously gave Winter a gentle smile. Winter held the teddy bear in one hand and tightly gripped JT's hand with the other. The two walked hand in hand down a small path. The little girl was humming happily when he stopped and looked up at the sky. The sky had now turned a golden pink hue from the evening sun. JT's sudden words made the little girl look up in confusion. She's here already? From a distance, a girl with blonde hair came running. Oh, my lord. Instead of greeting her back, he asked, where have you been? Go hugged Winter and rubbed her cheek against hers as she replied, I just popped out to the shopping district for a bit. Winter in her human form is so, how sweet. The two of them hugged, a faint blush appearing on their faces. The girl smiled gently, pressing her forehead against Winter's. She seems happy to have received a gift from you, sir, doesn't she? JT looked at them both while holding the bear. Can you read Winter's thoughts? Gold happily replied and explained. When we dragons make skin-to-skin contact, we don't just transfer mana, we can also understand each other's thoughts and emotions. Touching foreheads is the most effective way. Simply put, it's a type of physical contact used to express affection. He recalled the earlier moment and raised a hand to his own forehead. So that's what it was. I had no idea. Gold, holding Winter in her arms, laughed out loud. Hey, so there are some things you don't know, sir? JT looked at the item Gold was carrying on her back and asked, "What's that thing on your back?" The girl glanced behind her, thinking. Gold smiled, her voice hesitant. "Ah, this." From inside, she pulled out a guitar, strumming a few strings to tune it. Gold introduced it excitedly. "It's something I bought to convey my soul to everyone without needing to touch skin. What do you think? I look like a singer, right?" The girl enthusiastically kept playing, making even Winter's eyes light up as she watched. "I'll definitely do my best." And yet, JT just watched, with a completely expressionless face. An image of the guitar, along with several syringes, flashed in his mind. He saw Gold sitting amidst a pile of shattered things. JT trembled so much he couldn't speak. The girl's face no longer held any joy, but an indescribable expression. Back in the present, he swallowed nervously. Gold blew on her reddened hands, still not used to playing. JT suddenly spoke, making the girl pause. "Just don't push yourself too hard." Gold thought he was scolding her, and quickly waved her hands, running after him to ask, "Why do you say that, sir?" Seeing her reaction, JT explained, "I just mean, take it slow." Gold was about to say more, but he cut her off. "But I want to work hard. Is Dubom awake yet?" The girl sighed and replied, "She's still sleeping, sir. Her fever hasn't broken yet." JT led Winter ahead, then glanced back. "I suppose so. She's been using combat magic non-stop for days. What about Duyorium?" Hearing his question, Gold put a hand to her mouth, thinking, "As for Yorium, she's been binge-watching TV series all day. She hasn't even left her room. It's the first time I've seen her so passionate about something other than fighting." JT was relieved to hear that. It's still better than her, causing trouble outside. The three of them headed home, and the girl led the little one inside. "Winter, remember to wash your hands after coming in from outside." Suddenly, his eyes narrowed with vigilance. Gold was happily wondering to herself, "I wonder if Bomb is awake yet?" Suddenly, JT's hand landed on the girl's shoulder, the atmosphere around him turning grim. "Gold, get in the room with Winter. Now, don't come out until I call for you." The girl was confused and was about to ask, but he cut her off. "Huh? Why all of a sudden?" Seeing the look on JT's face frightened Gold a little. "Ah, yes, sir." She picked up the little one and ran straight to her room. "Winter, let's go read a fairy tale." He watched them run to the room until he confirmed they were safe. Then JT turned towards the door. He walked over and placed his hand on the doorknob. A creaking sound echoed as JT stepped into the room. His face was grim as he looked inside. The room was unlit, and standing there was JT and 4 strangers in his house. One of them suddenly spoke first. Who would dare do this to the Green Dragon? His eyes suddenly flashed, his tone threatening. "Was it you, Guardian?" Dragons use enslavement magic to shackle monsters, or humans, they find useful. They turn them into guards for their nests, also known as Knights of the Dragon race. Some of the most elite guardians act as bodyguards for young dragons who go out for fun, like these ones. Green was still sleeping soundly on the bed, completely unaware. JT looked at her, thinking to himself, did he use sleep magic on Dubom? The guardian suddenly stomped his foot hard on the floor. He angrily yelled in JT's face, "Answer me! Did you do this to Green?" JT didn't answer, but asked a question of his own. "When you enter someone else's house, shouldn't you introduce yourself first?" The man raised an arm that was shrouded in a black aura. "It seems you don't understand the situation. Asking questions is a privilege of the strong." He quickly launched an attack at him. "In this place, only I have the right to question you, you lowly human." JT looked up. It was a high-level defensive barrier magic. He retracted his power and continued, "This is your last warning." He clenched the aura in his hand tightly. "What did you do to Green? Spit it out, human." Without a trace of fear, he answered bluntly, "Blue has awakened." Hearing JT's answer made the man freeze. Green is in this state because she tried to teach polymorph through transfer magic. The Guardian's hostility towards him lessened. Then, "Who are you?" JT put his hands in his pockets and replied, "I'm the kid's protector." Hearing this, the man scoffed in contempt. "Protector? What a ridiculous introduction. Do you even know what you're protecting?" He quickly answered, then followed up with a question of his own. "Of course I do. Which is why I have a question for you." His single question stunned the entire group. "Why are you all here so early? Shouldn't you be drifting in some spatial abyss right about now?" "Is that so?" They spoke in disbelief. "How do you?" The Guardians suddenly drew their weapons. "You're a human, yet you know far too much. We are the protectors of the children and the keepers of historical causality. I admit you've taken care of them in my stead, but it seems you have nothing to do with the side of good. Letting you live will surely bring disaster." Hearing this, JT could only sigh. It seemed this couldn't be resolved through dialogue. The sound of wind whistled past. "Don't worry, it won't hurt." The whole group charged at him. weapons raised. The guardian with the sword lunged forward with great force. He decisively swung at JT, a terrifying power emanating from his blade, but it was quickly parried by JT with an ordinary-looking sword. The guardian was stunned, thinking to himself, "My magic sword was destroyed this easily?" JT calmly blocked the attack, his face devoid of any expression. Then, he decisively flung the man away, along with his sword. Seeing this, the shield-bearing guardian next to him shouted and charged forward. "You pathetic fool, falling to such a mediocre blow. Ah, let us handle this one. You fall back and observe." After that, all the others beside him rushed forward. The guardian who had just been defeated yelled to his comrades, "Wait, hold on, this guy is stronger than we thought." Next, he witnessed his comrades being taken down one by one under JT's powerful sword strikes. When he stopped, all the guardians were lying defeated on the ground. JT walked over to a conscious guardian who was sitting slumped on the floor. Seeing him approach, the guardian thought in a panic, "I suspected it from the start. An ordinary human taking care of dragon whelps. He even knew of our existence. I should have realized sooner. He is a transcendent being that cannot be touched." As JT drew closer, their eyes met, and then JT suddenly let out a long sigh. The sword in his hand vanished. JT said, "I already offered to negotiate." The guardian suddenly asked, "Is this world under your rule?" JT calmly replied, "Answer my question first. How did you all survive when space was warped?" The guardian looked at him and explained seriously, "Due to a dimensional twist." He then recalled a time when a group of guardians, along with a great dragon, their master, opened a gate to connect the nest to this world. But for some reason, the dimension became distorted and threw us out into the cosmos. Back in the present, JT said, "Explain this dimensional twist in more detail." The guardian replied, "I don't know the specifics, but according to our master, there is something called the Horizon of Destiny. The dimensional twist was caused by energy from that place. It's as if all dimensions are caught in a vortex around it." Hearing this, JT thought with suspicion, "How strange. I've never heard of a Horizon of Destiny before. So, what does that have to do with them appearing here? Did the Horizon help them get here? This is different from before. This is the first time Green's protectors have come looking for me." He then shot a cold glance at the guardian, who was slowly trying to get up, and said grimly, "I need to know how you got here. How did the Horizon help you reach this place?" The other guardian continued to explain. "To be more precise, a will crossed that boundary and helped us." JT was confused. "A will?" The man continued. "It felt like an invisible force was guiding us. It led me to gather the other protectors and find the place where the dragon whelps were hiding." Hearing this, JT said, "Let me check something." He then gently placed his hand on the guardian's head. He leaned in slightly and said, "Look directly into my eyes." The skill, Eyes of Libra, is one of the 3 powers I took from the Demon King. It is the eye that distinguishes good from evil, truth from lies, love from hate, and sees the true nature of all things. After a moment, he closed his eyes and said, "So, you were telling the truth." JT thought to himself, "I've already dealt with every threat to this world." JT's eyes narrowed in anger. "I've also checked the fabric of space countless times. Why is there still a loophole?" The guardian spoke again about the will from beyond the horizon. "It carries a resentment, like a curse. Perhaps I can feel it because I carry a gem core created from Green's power." Hearing this, JT slowly reached out his hand, then decisively pierced through the guardian's armor and pulled something out, causing the man to cry out in pain. Next, he forcefully ripped off the armor plate, revealing a hole in the armor, with something glowing inside. He was shocked. "What is this?" Suddenly, numerous glowing chains shot out from that spot. Temporal authority. Kronos has detected a destroyed timeline. Temporal authority. Kronos has identified a hostile element. This authority will forcefully reject anything outside the main timeline. Then, the many chains formed an hourglass. It will hunt down all entities carrying a separate timeline. This power, which has been dormant until now, has activated. The hourglass then fell into JT's hand. He thought, confused, "But I can't interfere right now. All I can do is wait." The other guardians saw this and began to whisper amongst themselves. That strange light turned into an hourglass? Well, at least things have settled down for now. JT turned back and said, "What will you do now? The dragon whelps are under my protection. You're useless here. The dimensional twist has also broken your enslavement magic. What reason do you have to stay here any longer?" The guardian asked. "Are you setting us free?" JT replied again, "As long as you don't cause any trouble, it's fine." Then, they stood up one by one and said, "Well then, I'll be taking my leave. Us too." JT calmly closed his eyes slightly and uttered, go on. But Gold, who had just torn off a piece of his armor, said with difficulty, I can't go. JT, understanding, asked, You're not going? The man answered decisively, Yes, because I am the keeper of causality. Before he could even finish his sentence, JT punched him, sending him crashing to the ground. JT slowly walked over and said, I'll ask you again. Are you still refusing to leave? That Gold fellow answered resolutely, I cannot. He placed his foot on the man's chest, unleashing a powerful surge of energy that made the whole room tremble, and coldly asked, Last chance. Still no? Gold looked at him and replied weakly, I cannot. The guardians behind them immediately said, It's useless talking to him. He's always been stubborn, to stand before freedom and not dare to take it. What an idiot. JT glanced over, thinking for a moment, then turned away and said, Fine, at least you're worthy of being a guardian. A sword slowly materialized. In his hand, Gold was shocked. Huh? A moment later, the room was in chaos. The guardians who had craved freedom were now all dead. The stubborn ones who didn't leave struggled to their feet, asking, Why did you only spare me? Were you testing us, sir? JT replied calmly, Not exactly. It's more that I find you interesting. Why are you so insistent on protecting Green? He immediately answered, It is because my loyalty to the Green family is absolute. JT said, Loyalty is good, but Green already has me to protect her. You're weaker than me. What right do you have to be her protector? However, there is a role that might suit you. Hearing this, the man looked up curiously. Later, in another place, Gao, Winter, and Red were standing around when JT said, Say hello. He appeared with Gold from before, who was now wearing an apron. JT announced, This is my new housekeeper. The man's face showed a hint of reluctance as he thought helplessly to himself. Housekeeper? In the cozy kitchen, the sound of dishes being scrubbed echoed from the smart robot. It meticulously washed each bowl and plate, lathering them with soap to get them clean. The smart robot, acting just like a human, spoke up in its own way. It turned and retorted, What? A housekeeper? Are you kidding me, sir? JT snapped. You don't like it? The stubborn robot argued back. What does protecting dragons have to do with cleaning? My head isn't smart enough to understand this. JT slammed his hand on the table. Like I said yesterday, I alone am enough to protect the dragons. Letting you stay was a concession. If you don't do your job as a housekeeper, well, I'll erase you on the spot. So you'd better try to prove your worth. The robot sullenly returned to the kitchen area, sighing. How did I end up in this situation? Just then, Green approached with a sweet voice. You're the guardian from Ascalon, right? He was surprised. My lady, are you feeling all right? She smiled. Yes, it was just about a fatigue. I heard you're staying on as a housekeeper? The robot's tone turned sad. I suppose so. Suddenly, Green praised him. The apron suits you. I'll be in your care from now on, Mr. Housekeeper. Oh my goodness. Being praised by a girl made his cheeks flush red with embarrassment. At that moment, the robot's hand, holding a bowl, trembled slightly. Cleaning or washing dishes, please leave it all to me. My lady, I won't let you lay a finger on such dirty work. Who would have thought that a second later, the sound of shattering dishes would be heard? She spoke up. Ah, that was a rather expensive one. Winter looked absolutely adorable in a blue bear costume. Next was a school uniform that gave off a feeling of childhood innocence, followed by a lovely, ethereal evening gown that the little girl tried on. Gao watched the system monitor with sparkling eyes, delighted. So cute. When did you buy these outfits, sis? They're beautiful. Green replied. I ordered them right after she was born. Winter, sweetie, do you like them? Seeing her delighted expression, Gao teased. Of course she likes them. She grinned from ear to ear. Mr. Housekeeper, which one do you think is the prettiest? The robot replied. To me, Winter is lovely in every outfit. The little girl laughed loudly. That's a great answer. He opened his mouth to thank the little girl. Meanwhile, no one noticed JT's expression growing dark and serious, as if he was about to explode. Unbeknownst to them, his gaze was fixed on the happily laughing girl. He's such a smooth talker. But then, red patches on a pair of fair hands caught his attention. JT angrily yelled, Are you still playing the guitar? Gold hurriedly replied. Ah, no sir. I just strum it a little now and then. Green also wondered, Gold plays the guitar because he likes it, right? Is there a problem, sir? His voice deepened. I didn't say anything. Speaking of which, Eorium has been missing all day. She's probably still glued to her games. Huh? She stammered. Probably. The housekeeper spoke up. Actually, I tried to clean her room earlier, but was chased out. But her face was so pale. I'm really worried. Her skin was deathly pale. My lady, Red snapped. Leave me alone. Get lost, you shorty. Hearing the robot's story, Green said, she probably just stayed up all night watching movies. JT's long, narrow eyes glanced at her, as if he wanted to say something. And then, with a grim expression, he moved to stand in front of Red's door. His eyes peered inside, his anger growing as if he'd seen something completely unexpected. Beer bottles were strewn across the floor, and ashtrays were piled horrifyingly high, with cigarette butts. At that moment, Red had a cigarette dangling from her mouth. She was munching on a piece of meat when she spoke up. What is it? JT suddenly cut her off. I just came to check if you were still alive. A voice boomed from the TV screen. For the motherland. He glanced at the screen skeptically. You watch this stuff all the time? Red was surprised. Have you ever seen it, sir? JT answered bluntly. Never. She enthusiastically pitched it. There are 7 whole seasons, but the plot is terrible, and the setting is garbage, JT said in a low voice, then stop watching it. Red frowned. Huh? You really are a genius, sir. He suddenly turned and walked away, calling out, come outside, we need to talk. Later, JT gently held Winter in his arms and announced, all right, from now on, we're doing a deep clean. Hearing this, Red complained. Huh? A deep clean? Gold asked. Why so suddenly? He explained, even though you're not ordinary people, if you're going to live in the human world, you need to know how to be hygienic, especially Eorium and Goon. Your rooms are disgustingly filthy. Hearing her name called out, Gold shouted, How? How did you get into my room? My mom taught me not to just barge into someone else's nest. JT calmly retorted, Did she also teach you to live in a pigsty? The little girl cried, That's not the point. With a serious face, he declared, The maid will handle the living room and kitchen. You'll clean your own rooms. Red stood up, picking her nose. This is ridiculous. We already have a maid. Why do I have to clean? Seeing this, Gold commented with disgust. Ew, that's so gross. Quick-witted, she wiped her finger on Gold's face. Oh really? Then this is for you. After that, Gold's piercing scream echoed throughout the entire house. After Red left the room, Gold held her face and cried her eyes out. My sister hates being dirty. Red added another taunt. You say you hate being dirty, but you let your room look like a pigsty. Hey shorty, I'm going to work out. Clean my room for me. I'll check it when I get back. The robot promptly replied, Yes, ma'am. And Green also stood up. I already cleaned mine yesterday. I'm heading to the night market now. There are a lot of us in the house now, so I'll cook a big feast. Hearing her report, JT nodded repeatedly. Okay, but as a memory surfaced, his face turned pale at the thought of Green's cooking. Green smiled warmly. Oh, is there anything you'd like to eat, sir? Any cravings? He hastily cut her off. No, just go. Meanwhile, scattered at the robot maid's feet were broken bottle shards. Even it was at a loss for words upon seeing the state of the room. Then, the robot spoke. Even though I don't have a nose, I can still smell the stench. Is this hell? No, it's worse than hell. The room of Henry Aorium. It's just as sickly. What is this basin? Is she training her poison resistance? After observing its surroundings for a moment, it decided, all right, first, I'll tackle the large piles of trash. Just then, JT walked in and spoke. Aren't those cans and plastics supposed to be separated? You're a maid and you don't even know that basic rule? Don't they have the concept of recycling in Ascalpa? Truly a lawless land. It frowned, thinking, others might not know, but I can recognize it. This is demonic energy. Could it be a clone of the master? He opened his mouth to taunt. Are you just going to stand there staring blankly? Planning to stay up all night? The robot obediently nodded repeatedly. Understood, sir. He looked exactly like the real one. Just then, the real JT walked over and said, What are you two doing? You're supposed to be cleaning. The demonic JT clone replied, You've arrived, sir. I was just instructing the maid on her duties. It trembled, not daring to speak. I heard he's a count, he said in a low voice. Don't just stand there pointing fingers. Get in there and help him. I was afraid he couldn't handle Eorium's room alone, so I called for you. The clone was stunned. Me, sir? In the gym, Red was in her workout clothes, enthusiastically lifting weights. Meanwhile, Green was diligently searching for fruits to cook with. Elsewhere, Gold was trying to stuff clothes into her closet. Everyone was busy, working hard to clean the house. The sky had turned a shimmering orange-yellow, blanketing JT's mansion. The demonic JT clone came to report, It's all finished, sir. He replied, Good. This is where you need to go. The JT clone looked at something and was stunned. On the computer screen was a satellite view of the northern hemisphere. The JT clone spoke up. Moscow? He explained. The Invisible Ghost Organization is researching a combat-type super demon here. Once you're done with the police matter this week, fly to Russia. JT emphasized, find Prototype X for me at all costs. The JT clone declared, as you command, I will prepare at once. Just then, Green walked in with a bright face and a sparkling smile. I'm back. The robot smiled gently. Welcome back, miss. Gold piped up. Wow, sis, you bought so much. Green, carrying bags in both hands, replied, there are many mouths to feed in this house, so I have to cook a lot. The JT clone stepped forward and said, Green, you're back. I'll take my leave now. JT stopped him. Wait, he ordered in a harsh tone. You're switching clothes with me. Now. Later, some rather strange-looking dishes were laid out on the dining table. Green announced, enjoy your meal, kids. Gold stared into her soup bowl. This soup tastes just like the one from Ascalpa. Red added, it's tolerable. The little girl wondered innocently, it would be so nice if the maid could eat with us. She yelled, how is it supposed to eat without a mouth, you idiot? At that moment, the JT clone, disguised as the real JT, was sweating bullets as he stared at the food. Master, don't tell me you made me sit here because of this? Yep. Meanwhile, in a dense, hazy space within an abandoned industrial park near L.A., a man was shouting curses, blood streaming constantly from his demonic-looking mouth. The man stared straight into JT's eyes and raged frantically. You think you can pull this crap on me? You think you can just walk away from this? You lowly human trash, how dare you run your mouth? Do you have any idea who's backing me? But before he could even finish his sentence, JT slashed him across the stomach. Watching the man fall to the floor with a thud, JT spoke. Yeah, I know exactly who. He grabbed the man by the hair, yanking his head up. Professor Wun of the Blue Dragon Academy, right? Ah, no, I should say the Demon One of the Formless, shouldn't I? What is Wun plotting? What kind of scheme are you trying to pull? JT then activated his Heavenly Dragon's Eye ability, his voice laced with threat. Don't even think about lying to me. Spill it. The man, his face twisted and covered in dark red blood, trembled. I don't know the details, but he said that in 3 months, if the plan succeeds, he will be chosen. JT's voice was low. Chosen? You mean for a seat, don't you? The man quickly replied, yes, that's right. The seats are held by only 4 elite demons, chosen by the Formless. Normally, demons operate in small groups, but those who attain a seat command their own army, and they reach the highest level in the demonic hierarchy, a disaster-level power. JT pondered. This is strange. In previous regressions, one never attained a seat. Besides, at this point in time, he shouldn't be capable enough to hatch any major plans. Just then, he noticed something unusual. The S-rank ability Temporal Insight detected malice from beyond the horizon. Temporal Insight, powered by a heart that exists outside the world's timeline. Target: Demon 1. Interference detected from a dissatisfied existence. One who is also outside the world's timeline of regression loops. The Demon 1 has escaped the cycle of regression, carrying over the most elite elements from the previous loop. First those guardians, and now 1. Is everything related to me being interfered with? While JT was lost in thought, the man suddenly called out. Hey, this is all I know, but if you spare my life, sir, I can dig up more information for you. My mother is sick at home, waiting for me. I swear I won't betray you. Please, spare me. But unexpectedly, JT showed no mercy, swinging his blade and severing the man's head, which rolled straight to the ground. JT used his Heavenly Dragon's Eye to project a murderous aura. I told you, your pathetic lies are useless against me, and even if it were true, you'd still have to die. Immediately after, the abandoned house filled with a thick miasma, the smell of blood, destruction, and incineration. At the break of dawn, a new day began, fresh and clear, filled with the cheerful chirping of birds. He walked through the crowd, his mind calculating. If Wun has a grand plan to attain a seat, it's highly likely that plan involves Lee. JT recalled the moment Wun said to Red, could you represent us and lead the year-end event? The year-end event. Adderall. That must be connected to his scheme. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Oh, what an adorable baby. In the middle of the park, a crowd was excitedly gathered around Green and Winter. Everyone was complimenting Winter, saying they'd never seen such a cute baby. What's her name? Green replied. It's Jugun. Everyone who passed by had a kind word for the little girl. Her eye and hair color are so beautiful. How old are you, Jugun? Just then, Green noticed JT's arrival, her eyes widening in surprise. JT's voice cut through. What do you people want with her? The sharpness in his eyes made everyone shake their heads in fear. Ah, nothing, sir. Green spoke softly. I didn't see you all day. "Where have you been, sir?" He replied, "Just taking care of a few things. And you? Why are you with Jugun?" She tilted her head and answered, "I've been sick lately, so I haven't had time to play with her. The new school term starts tomorrow, and I was afraid we wouldn't have another chance to play together." He replied, "I see." Green looked into JT's eyes, her own eyes bright and her smile warm and friendly. She saw his perfect side profile, his straight, attractive nose. Suddenly, she spoke up, like this, "Don't we look just like a family? Jugun is your daughter, and I'm her mother. If we follow that script, then we would be." At that moment, little Winter was looking at them with her clear, innocent eyes. Green continued, "In that case, you and I would be." JT remained silent, not saying a word, as if lost in thought. It's unclear what Green was thinking, but she let out an embarrassed laugh. Seeing how serious JT looked, she quickly tried to defuse the situation. "I'm just kidding." "Just kidding. Why are you so serious?" His voice was stern. "If you're going to keep talking nonsense, just go home." Then, JT picked up the little girl and started walking, asking her gently, "Did you have fun playing?" Green watched his retreating back from a distance with a thoughtful expression. The sky had shifted to a romantic shade of orange-yellow. Beneath the beautiful cherry blossoms, students in neat uniforms filled the streets. Girls were hurrying across the road to get to class on time. Petals rained down across the academy grounds, creating a picturesque scene. At the same time, Green was rushing along, munching on a piece of bread, her cheeks flushed. A bright smile was on her face. "We're finally going to school. Which class are you in? I wish I could be in the same class as you." Green smiled. "I'm taking superheroics, literature, magic studies, and sociology." "Hey, Jugun, I've been wondering about something. Why do you keep that sandwich in your mouth? You already ate at home this morning." Suddenly, the little girl blushed and gave a shy smile. "You don't know? Mom said that if you're running to school with a sandwich in your mouth and bump into someone," Gold revealed the secret, "then that person is your destiny." As she said this, her eyes sparkled like twinkling stars, full of hope. But just as she was getting all worked up, Red said, "So romantic." "Ow," she joked. "Man, I wish I had a destined one like that too. Oh my god, I can't believe I bumped into little Kuang. So, does that make you his destined one? Huh? Is the little girl crying? Huh? But I'm a girl." Red quickly snatched a piece of the sandwich and shoved it in her mouth. "So what? I've seen girls in Western movies make out with each other, all the time." The little girl yelled, "My sandwich!" The girl then added, "By the way, where'd that guy disappear to this morning? Wasn't he supposed to be observing our class?" Go replied, I think he said he was going to the office first to confirm something." Red burst out laughing. "Huh? I didn't see him come home yesterday either. He probably went out to meet some girl." Ren was stunned. "No way, he's not that kind of person." G asked, "What's wrong with you? Why are you suddenly sweating bullets?" Just then, the little girl seemed to notice something strange. G asked curiously, "Who are those people? They don't look like students, do they? Who else would it be?" "It's probably the press." Red chimed in. "They're probably here to take pictures of the standout freshmen." Green, quickly, made her escape. "I'm heading in first, you guys." Just then, a boy turned his head slightly and noticed something. The surrounding crowd grew, curious. "Isn't that girl Yoram?" "It is Yoram, the one who took down Sophia and made that world-shaking declaration." "Ah, that's right. It's the red-haired girl." Red froze and cursed. Instantly, spotlights were on the girl as the reporters bombarded her with questions. "Are you Yoram? Please, could we have a quick interview? Look over here, please. Please just answer a few questions." She timidly hid behind Red. "What the hell? What's wrong with you people?" Red then opened her mouth and screamed, "Get the hell out of here." The girl's furious shout was deafening across the school grounds. Red raged, "Hey, you reporters, wasn't what I said last time enough for you? Fine then, I'll take you all on, one by one." The girl didn't hesitate to flip them the bird. "Bring it on, all of you." Little Winter woke up in a daze. Waking up to an empty house, the little girl just stared intently at the door. Gordian saw this and became worried. He was flustered. This is so awkward. Before he left, JT had given him instructions. "The children are off to school, and I won't be home either. Today, it'll just be you and Winter at home, so take good care of her." Gordian scratched his iron head, not expecting to be given a mission even harder than cleaning. "I've never looked after a child before," he called out. Little Miss Winter?" The little girl turned around, looking up at him with her sparkling eyes. Gordian stepped forward, explaining like a professional butler. "The other young ladies, and the master of the house will not return until this evening, so please, don't wait up. Why don't you find a comfortable place to rest, my lady?" Winter heard him, but didn't respond. The two just stared at each other for a moment. Finally, she simply turned away coldly, leaving him frozen to the spot. He panicked internally. This is so suffocating. Realizing he couldn't persuade Winter, Gordian sulked off, intending to start his usual duties. Forget it. I'll just go clean. Suddenly, his gaze fell upon the middle of the living room, and his eyes lit up as he found a solution to the deadlock. Once more, Gordian walked over to Winter. Miss Winter? He was holding a book. Gordian asked tentatively, "Would you like to read a fairy tale with me?" Fortunately, Winter agreed. The two of them went into the reading room. The little girl's eyes sparkled as she gazed at the world within the pictures. Seeing her positive reaction, Gordian was secretly relieved. Thank goodness. It seems she's interested in fairy tales. All right then, I shall read it for you, my lady. The story began. Its title was, My Daddy is a Fairy King. Gordian began to read. Once upon a time, in a faraway forest. Suddenly, the bright and cheerful story got distorted. If it's a forest from long ago, it must be from the era before the demon world. Some kind of primeval forest, the story continued. There lived a little girl named Danuni and her father. Gordian once again added an unnecessary comment. Looks like her mother has passed away, but Danuni is a lucky one. In those days, it was a miracle for even one person to still be alive. Before going to sleep, her father would tell her old stories every day. The story was quickly losing its innocent charm. Interesting. If they're old stories, they must be about the Great War, right? Winter shot him a look of disgust as he continued to ramble. So, Danuni must have been a war junkie, huh? Gordian continued reading with gusto. Then one morning, upon waking up, Danuni discovered her father wasn't home. Perhaps he went to find a new mother for her? I heard that in those days, it was common practice to take prisoners of war as concubines. If Danuni gets a new mother, she'll be overjoyed, Gordian concluded. In any case, Danuni. Suddenly, he realized something was wrong. Winter was staring at him with utter disgust. Gordian was baffled. What's wrong, my lady? Do you not like the story? Winter didn't reply. She just pointed off into the distance. The direction she was pointing to was a corner of the room. Winter then pointed at Gordian, and then back to the corner. She repeated this gesture until he was banished to the corner. She sat huddled over the book, not letting him touch it. Scene change. Meanwhile, in the city center, a luxury car cruised down the road. From inside the car, a pair of elegant legs emerged. Every male student at the school couldn't help but turn their heads, turned to look at the person who had just gotten out. The girl who stepped out elegantly touched up her makeup. Her name was Gong Du-hai, the heiress to the Gong clan, one of South Korea's 3 great swordsmanship families. But right now, she was more concerned with her appearance than her swordsmanship. Du-hai grumbled. Getting sweaty from sword practice is so annoying. It's ruining all my makeup. Du-hai noticed. A crowd of reporters up ahead. What's that? Are those reporters? Don't tell me they're waiting for me? She feigned exhaustion. Secretary Kim, you know I don't like being the center of attention. Please handle this for me. Secretary Kim, standing behind her, pointed out, It seems they're not here to photograph you, my lady. Hearing that, Du-hai was taken aback. Huh? She shoved her way through the reporters, annoyed. Then, who's here that they're not taking pictures of me? Suddenly, Du-hai fell silent, completely stunned. Du-hai blurted out, Holy shit. The ones being hounded by the press were Red and Gold. Meanwhile, Red was awkwardly sitting on the back of a male student. Gold asked shyly, But, sis, why is that guy being your chair? Red replied bluntly, I don't know. He volunteered. She checked on him. You doing okay? Don't you go crying about this later. The male student replied happily, Yes, of course. I'm your fan. Red questioned, Fan? What nonsense are you talking about? A reporter approached. So, student Eorium, may we begin? The interview now? Red answered arrogantly. If you don't follow the order, forget the interview. I'll just leave. 1 question per person, then get lost. She gestured. All right. Let's start with the guy in the hat. Hello student Eorium. I'm from TT. Broadcasting. Red cut him off. Your introduction is too long. Next, the reporter yelled. I wasn't even done talking. Another reporter immediately asked. I'm from CT France. You've recently become a hot topic in the superhuman world, with many people looking you up. How do you feel about that? She replied curtly. Next. Another reporter approached. Are you aware that your fan cafe was just created? Please say a few words to your fans. The guy kneeling on the ground was overjoyed. Here comes the reward. Heh heh. She paid him no mind. So, it's this guy. You call yourself my fan? What a bunch of freaks. Next. Another reporter introduced himself. I'm Park Kang-ho from Jisan News. A strange, foul stench emanated from his obese body. He was constantly wiping away sweat. What exactly did you mean by what you said during the Cheongryong Academy interview? Red answered while pinching her nose. You already know, so why are you asking? Is your mind filled with nothing but that? She whispered. Ugh, what is that smell? He kept pressing. Don't be like that. Explain it clearly. Of all the words you could have chosen, why that one? Red frowned in annoyance. The reporter looked at her with a perverted expression. Was there some other hidden meaning? Red didn't let it slide and immediately cut in. Mr. Reporter, she challenged him. Do you want to do that with me? Kang-ho was stunned. Huh? He stammered. Don't say that. Red's face darkened. You know damn well I was just joking. So if you knew it was a joke, why are you twisting my words like this? Seeing her anger, the reporter still didn't back down. Perhaps because student Eorium is still young, you don't understand, but this is just what being a reporter is like. So if you cooperate nicely, I'll write a good article for you. Red furiously lunged forward and grabbed the reporter by his collar. Oh, for God's sake, buddy, did you really think I'd put up with you forever? Gold panicked from behind. Hey sis, just ignore them. Let's go inside. Kang-ho's camera was still capturing Red's every move. He celebrated internally. Yes, this kind of aggression is what gets the views up, but it's still a bit of a waste. Maybe I should provoke her a little more? No sooner said than done. He continued his taunt. If you keep acting like this, I'll have no choice but to write the article based on my own interpretation. For example, Yu Aorium, center of controversy, solicits a reporter for sex. Red clenched her fist. Yeah? Go ahead and write it. She charged straight at the reporter in a rage. But first, you're going to die by my hand. Gold chased after her, trying to stop her. Ah, Eorium. Suddenly, her punch was stopped. JT had appeared just in time to resolve the situation before Red could take things too far. Gold breathed a sigh of relief. Ah, you came. Just in time. JT looked at Red and asked, causing trouble the moment you arrive? Red screamed. It wasn't me. It was that pig. Seeing that Red seemed unable to calm down, JT decisively picked her up and slung her over his shoulder. Red struggled, but it was useless. What the? Let me go, JT announced to the reporters. The interview is over. Before leaving, he added a threat, and you'd better not put any of this in the papers. A wave of power radiated from JT as he walked away angrily, his steps so forceful they cracked the pavement. Kang-ho stumbled backward in fear as his interview equipment short-circuited and fried. Red stared in amazement at what JT had just done. The three of them walked away under the stares of many people. JT warned, Yugun, if you don't want to be late for your first day, get inside now. Gold scurried behind them. Yes, sir. Du-hai had witnessed the entire incident. She was stunned. Did you see that just now? Secretary Kim understood her meaning. Shall we investigate their family background? But Du-hai wasn't interested in that. Where is that big-chested blonde girl from? In the classroom, the teacher began to introduce himself. The professor smiled cheerfully. Welcome, students. I am your swordsmanship instructor, Kaido. Today's lesson will cover the history of swordsmanship and the proper attitude when holding a sword. Red watched on, bored. What? The attitude for holding a sword? Just hurry up and teach us how to fight. Let's go. Jay looked surprised, but it was a genuine surprise. I thought you'd get so bored with studying that you'd run away immediately. She sighed. What are you talking about? I've sat through boring as hell movies until the very end. She said, seriously, I have to. Work hard until I can defeat that bunch of hat-wearing priests. Just you wait. The day will come when I defeat him. She wondered. Ah, but why are you studying with me? Go hang out with the others. JT replied nonchalantly. You know the reason better than I do. Red raised an eyebrow. Hey now, I haven't caused any trouble. I've been very well behaved lately, JT reminded her. Did you forget about punching that reporter earlier? Red jumped. It's because that pig kept getting on my nerves. He was trying to piss me off. If you were in my shoes, you wouldn't have been able to stand it either. As she spoke, Red inched closer to JT. He warned her, don't touch me, it's hot. Red provoked him cheerfully. What's wrong? I thought men go crazy for this kind of contact. Or, are you shy? Faced with Red's teasing, JT just remained silent. Red didn't get the reaction she wanted. She was disappointed. Red slumped onto the table. This is so boring. Only then did JT speak. Studying is supposed to be boring. Red denied it. It's not the studying, it's the way you talk. She sprawled across the table, For a kidnapper, you're no fun at all, Red recalled. At first, I thought you were unhinged too, that there'd be some dopamine-fueled days waiting for me, Red pouted. But I never expected you to play this whole happy family game, JT replied. The things that happen on your way to school are stimulating enough, aren't they? Remembering what happened, Red got annoyed. Not that kind of frustrating stuff. I mean fighting, killing, the sweet taste of victory. Suddenly, from behind her, the teacher's voice rang out. Oh ho, it seems our student Yoriam is itching for a fight. At times like this, I have a great idea. The teacher made a suggestion. Stay behind after class with your guardian. Red's face twisted when she heard the request. After school, in the gym, Red was holding a wooden sword, wiping it vigorously. The more she wiped, the angrier she got. Red shot up and threw the sword down. The more she thought about it, the more pissed she got. Why the hell do I have to clean this? I want to fight. Opposite her, JT was also cleaning. He calmly advised her, instead of complaining, just hurry up and wipe. Red said, annoyed, just call the guy at home to do it. He likes cleaning, doesn't he? JT asked back. Then who will look after Winter? She had to just click her tongue and let it go. That blue kid is so needy too. Red changed the subject. I have a question. Did you ever get any schooling when you were a kid? While wiping the sword, JT answered. I didn't have time to study properly. She took the opportunity to tease him. What's this? Are you an idiot too? Not having time to study is usually just an excuse, right? Haha. He simply replied. Back then, there was a war on. I was busy trying to survive. Hearing that, Red was stunned. She turned away. Damn it, you're such a buzzkill. So what's my excuse? Then, she thought for a moment, then decided to ask, is your life fun, JT? It's not, Red plopped down in front of him. Then what's the point of living such a boring life? If I were as strong as you, I wouldn't live such a dull existence. Or maybe you're so strong that you're bored with life. Haha, JT said pensively. Life goes on. I can't just quit. Red broke the serious mood. Why do you sound like a child? JT didn't want to argue. That's enough chit-chat. Hurry up and finish wiping. The scene changes to that evening at JT's house, where everyone was enjoying themselves. The atmosphere was as warm as a family's. Red fiddled with a Rubik's Cube in her hands. So, you turn it like this to make the sides match up? While she was fiddling with it, trying to solve it, Gordian kept walking back and forth cleaning. Behind her, Red got annoyed and threw the Rubik's Cube straight at him. Hey, you bastard, are you going to keep pissing me off? I'm losing my concentration. Gordian was in a subservient position, he stammered. I'm sorry. After venting her anger, Red sprawled out on the sofa. Gordian sadly went off to clean, somewhere else. Green noticed Red was in a bad mood and asked, why do you seem so irritated today? Is it because of those reporters bothering you this morning? Red said dejectedly. Well, there's that, but I'm mostly just bored. I haven't gotten to fight lately. Red called out. Hey, bomb sis? Green was stunned. Her face went pale. Did you just call me sis? She came over to Red. Yoriam, what's wrong with you? Do you need to go to the hospital? Red frowned. Good grief. What, would you prefer I go back to being rude? She propped herself up on her elbow. Anyway, that's not important, she asked. What do you live for? Seeing Red like this for the first time, both Green and Winter stared wide-eyed. Green whispered into the little girl's ear. Winter, I think Sister Yoriam has finally hit puberty. Winter also nodded in agreement. Red's face turned red as she shouted, I can hear everything, you idiots. And you, little blue girl, what are you nodding for? Red recounted. Today, I asked that guy what he's even living for. Do you know what he said? Red mimicked JT's facial expression from that moment. Life just goes on. You can't just give up. Green and Winter were impressed. Whoa, you looked exactly like him just now. Red continued. But he doesn't feel happy. In this world, people live to find joy. If you can't feel joy, what's the point of living? For example, that golden monkey over there. He's happy as long as he gets to eat good food. And that little kid is happy just playing with that shabby old teddy bear. Green also. He never really told us anything, but there must be something he likes, right? Suddenly, Red chimed in. If you ask me, you're just like him. Green was puzzled. I'm like him? Red nodded. Yup, you're both impossible to figure out, and you're both boring as hell. Haha. Green fell silent, thinking seriously. Is that right? Red pressed on. So, is there anything that makes you happy to be alive? Green suddenly remembered something, and her eyes lit up. Well, there is one thing. Red leaned in, curious. What is it? Green's answer left Red completely stunned. You know, I wonder, is he a man or a demon? Red was skeptical. What are you talking about? You can tell just by looking at him that he's a cold-blooded psychopath. Remembering JT? Green replied softly. Yeah, I suppose so. That's what I thought, too. A memory of the two of them sitting together surfaced in Green's mind. She recalled JT's face from that moment, and a shy smile crept onto her lips. But he actually has a cute side to him, you know. Red suddenly lunged forward, her face twisted in disgust. Huh? What's with that disgusting smile? Green jumped, startled by Red's sudden movement. Oh my God! Red tackled her onto the floor, pinning her down and interrogating her relentlessly. Don't tell me you two have been doing something weird behind my back. As Red started tickling her, Green couldn't help but burst out laughing. Ah, stop it. That tickles. Just then, Gold came running down the stairs. Hey guys, the little girl was ecstatic. This is amazing. Everyone on social media is talking about Yoriam. Her voice was buzzing with excitement. She even has a fan cafe. Red whipped her head around. A fan cafe? What's that? A jolt went through Gold as she suddenly realized something. Gold turned away, blushing beet red. It's nothing. Just carry on with what you were doing. Red yelled angrily after her. Hey, you little brat, what are you up to? And so, another peaceful morning began at JT's house. Inside his room, he was putting on a dress shirt and adjusting his watch. Suddenly, the door opened. Green slowly stepped inside. Sir, she looked up, about to speak. I wanted to ask you for a favor. JT's shirt was only half buttoned, revealing his toned abs. Flustered, Green slammed the door shut. I'm so sorry. I should have knocked first. JT calmly reassured her. What is it? Come on in. I'm dressed now. Green entered again, looking even more timid than before. She began, would it be possible for you to accompany me today? Green smiled. Please, come with me today. As JT tied his tie, he asked, accompany you? Why so suddenly? She said with a pout. You always go out with Yoriam and Winter, but you've never once gone with me. Red is always getting into fights. I love violence, and Gold is easy to bribe. Want to go get some fried chicken with me? Ooh, fried chicken. After thinking it over, JT let out a helpless sigh. Fine. The little girl spoke with her mouth full. Hey sis, you're not going to school? Where are you off to? Red snapped, annoyed. Swallow your food before you talk. Green just smiled. I'm going on a date with him. The little girl was shocked. A date? Red looked away, trying to sound casual. You just mean you're going out with our guardian, right? Gold kept chewing her bread, trying to process this new information. But hey, how come you've never gone out with Bomb before? Don't tell me you're playing favorites with just me and Yoriam, he tried to explain. No, it's not like that. The little girl just smiled. Playing favorites is a bad thing, but I get it. My mom knew 100 men, but she still had 2 or 3 that she doted on. Red was stunned. Whoa, your mom is something else. The little girl smiled brightly. Right? Green sighed and turned away. So does that make me one of the 97 who got thrown away? JT was confused. What are you talking about? She said sadly. After going to all the trouble of kidnapping me, you don't even pay attention to me anymore. It's like I'm a fish you've already caught, so you can't be bothered. Gold looked at him reproachfully. She feels abandoned. Poor Bomb. You're being so mean, you know? Red looked at him too. I get why you only go out with us, but you don't have to worry. Just go with Bomb. You can't watch over us all the time. He thought for a moment. All right. Hearing this, she gave a playful wink, having gotten her way. Time flies, and soon they arrive at the building. Sunlight glinting off its roof. Inside, 15 students and their parents were seated in an orderly fashion. All eyes turned to Green as people began to whisper. Oh, isn't she the sister of that famous girl, Yoriam? I think her name is Yu Bomb. She's so pretty, isn't she? I heard she got a perfect score on her admissions interview. For real? What family is she from? I think it's the Yu clan, but I'm not sure. The Yu clan? Ugh, that sounds so backwater. Just then, Suji clapped her hands. All right, everyone. That concludes the lecture portion of our social etiquette class. For the remainder of our time, we will be practicing social dancing. A young man in the crowd spoke up. This is so embarrassing. Dancing? The instructor looked puzzled. Oh, and why would it be embarrassing? When you become superhumans representing your families, you will often be required to dance at formal galas and parties. Asterisk. That's times when it will be embarrassing if you're just standing there like a block of wood. Now, please find a partner. A boy and girl approached each other. Shall we? Okay, another pair blushed as they took each other's hands. If no one else will, you can dance with me. The instructor laughed. If there's someone you'd like to partner with, don't be shy. Just go ahead and ask. Ho ho ho. Just then, a pink-haired girl's attention was caught by something. She scoffed. Oh, looks like that U-bomb girl still doesn't have a partner. And here I thought the boys would be lining up for a chance to dance with her. The young man next to her agreed. Yeah, there's just something unapproachable about her. It's like you'd get your hand broken just for touching her. Just then, Suji approached with a worried look on her face. Oh, you bum, still don't have a partner? Green smiled, hiding her true feelings. Yeah, I guess I'm not very popular, especially since she was just talking about how pretty U-bomb is. What about the professor? Just then, she cut the professor off. Professor, is it okay if I ask my guardian to be my dance partner? JT, hearing this from afar, was surprised. Suji nodded. Oh, of course, absolutely. She quickly ran off. Thank you, the professor remarked. My, she's quick. She quickly approached where he was sitting. Green held out her hand. Sir, come on up. He averted his gaze. I don't know how to dance, she pouted. So, you're just going to leave me all alone? It's so lonely. Hearing this, he sighed helplessly. Meanwhile, Suji was giving instructions to the rhythm. All right, slowly take your partner's hand. 3, 2, 1, 2 steps. At that moment, JT and Green faced each other awkwardly. She suddenly noticed something rather surprising. His hand hesitated, moving up and down, and she teased, Sir, are you shy about touching me? He turned his head away. It's not that. Green proactively took both of JT's hands. Don't worry, it's not like we'll fall in love just because we touch. He remained cold. Humph, I know. Her voice grew heavy. And don't you dare dance half-heartedly. It'll affect my grade. He replied, Got it. They both got into position. She said, Let's begin. And just like that, the two of them danced together rhythmically to the music. Green chuckled to herself. Why are his hands so sweaty? Her fair hand grasped JT's drenched one. Are you nervous? Other places were soaked too. The sweat on his chest was so much you could see through his shirt. She remembered the sight of JT's hot body from before, and Green's face immediately flushed bright red. In that moment of distraction, she tripped and fell backward. Ah. But JT quickly caught her before she could hit the ground. The scene was romantic. He was stunned, speechless, while Green was now blushing furiously. Her heartbeat sped up, then her vision went white, and blood started pouring from her nose. He was startled. Ah, you have a nosebleed. A while later, after class had ended, at a roadside shop, Green was drinking lemonade with a piece of tissue stuffed in her right nostril. JT asked if she needed to go to the hospital. She replied, No, there's no need. I'm fine now. Thinking back on it, he was suspicious. It's strange. You didn't hit anything. Why would your nose suddenly start bleeding? She shyly turned her head away. How should I know? She changed the subject. By the way, you're a better dancer than I thought. Have you ever taken lessons somewhere? Hearing Green's question, JT fell deep into thought. A memory from deep within his soul surfaced, and his eyes grew colder. Somewhere, a girl was teaching him to dance. Now, 1, 2, slowly, her face broke into a happy smile. Not bad. At this rate, you'll be a pro in no time, Captain. JT's back was reflected on the ground, creating a sorrowful scene. Then he answered, I've never learned. Hearing this, she fell silent. Green slowly took the cotton out of her nose. Humph. She stood up and asked, After class, are you busy with anything? JT replied, No. She tied up her hair. Then let's go do something fun. A full moon shone through the white clouds. In Moscow, Russia, at the research facility of the underground organization, Invisible, warning lights flashed as alarms blared loudly. A figure ran swiftly, leaving the bodies of guards in their wake. She gritted her teeth. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Where the hell did that monster come from? There aren't enough people here to stop it. I have to get out of here and protect the main headquarters. Just then, the Guardian appeared behind her. Where are you off to in such a hurry? She stared at him, stunned. What do you want? He replied coldly. My master is looking for something. The super class, Commander Grade Majin, X-type. Where is he? She screamed in anger. You think I'd tell you? Just kill me. The Guardian used the shadows to grab her by the neck. After killing many Majin, I've realized one thing. When you're on the verge of death, your instincts take over. But when the pain is too great, you struggle like a puppet with its strings cut. Do you also wish to dance a little under the moonlight? Vera lay collapsed in a pool of blood. The Guardian had struck her down and was now sending a signal to report to JT. Master, an image of a girl with one leg bound appeared. The X-type sample has been transferred to the Invisible headquarters as a test subject. And this time, the X-type is a female model, completely different from previous versions. He listened to the information. Then JT asked, "The head researcher you just dealt with. Her name was Vera, correct?" He replied, "Yes, master." He gave an order. "Disguise yourself as her, infiltrate invisible, and find out the X-type's true identity." The Guardian replied, "As you command." After cutting the signal, JT thought about the many vicious-looking Majin, the superclass commander, Prototype X, a creature possessing a special ability. It connects the minds of countless Majin. The longer it exists, the more Majin consciousnesses it absorbs, becoming immeasurably dangerous. He remembered the Majin that had died by his hand. "That's why I always prioritize destroying Prototype X in every cycle. But this time, the information is different from previous cycles, which is hindering the hunt." JT took out his authority. It displayed a notification. Authority. Chronosuccession S is reading the malice from the horizon of destiny, scanning for existences outside the timeline. He watched the notification as it continued to scan, thinking, the X-type's change in form must be due to the malice the Guardian sensed. JT clenched his fists. All he had to do was kill all these bastards who were ruining his life. Just then, Green called out, "Sir, come over here for a second." He walked over and asked what she wanted. She kept saying, "Hurry, hurry." JT was stunned as Green slightly opened the curtain to show him the lingerie she was trying on. She asked shyly, "Can you see? Does it suit me?" JT looked away. "What the hell are you doing?" Green laughed and replied, "Summer's coming, so what's wrong with buying one? Huh, are you inviting me? It's hard to see from over there. Come inside and get a better look." He acted uninterested and said, "You said we were going out to have fun, and now you're dragging me into this nonsense?" Green was embarrassed. "What? I'm having fun." As if realizing something, she asked, "Huh? What kind of weird thoughts are you having? Adults are so hard to understand." JT replied, "Don't push my buttons." Afterwards, the two went for a walk, but Green wouldn't let the earlier incident go. "Sir, be honest. You wanted to look earlier, didn't you?" He denied it. "No, not at all." She continued to tease him. "Oh, there's no way you didn't want to look." Green smiled brightly and said, "I guess I should have bought it." JT said if she was done messing around, they should head back. She spoke up, "Hee, actually, I came here to buy gifts for the kids." He repeated, "Gifts?" Green thought about Winter and her teddy bear, then expressed her idea. "Yeah, did you know Winter's teddy bear is all torn up? So I was planning to buy her a new one, and while I'm at it, get gifts for the other kids too." JT asked what the other kids wanted. She immediately listed them off. Gold only likes clothes. She doesn't care about anything else, so she doesn't feel self-conscious when she hangs out with her friends later. "Maybe we should get her a nice wallet." He asked again, "What about Eorium?" Green thought about what Red wanted to buy and replied with a forced smile. "Eorium." Yesterday, she said there was something she wanted to buy. She recalled the girl's tone at that moment. "I saw this in a movie the other day. Buy it for me." Green thought the item was a bit strange. After that, the two split up. She said, "All right, I'll go look for gifts for Gold and Eorium. Could you help me pick something for Winter?" JT immediately agreed. "Sure." Green watched him walk ahead. She asked, "Are you okay?" At the toy and toy teddy bear shop, the owner was at the counter, thinking. She looked at JT, guessing his age to be in his late 20s or early 30s. With that build, is he a model or a soldier? He's good looking too. He was still engrossed in choosing a teddy bear, not with anyone else. He had a lost look on his face in front of all the children's toys. The shop owner thought smugly. Exactly the type of customer who's easy to rip off. "I've caught a big one." She cheerfully went over to ask, "Oh, are you buying a gift for your little one? How old is your child?" JT replied, "Around 4. The shop owner flattered him. "Oh, the cutest age. Is your little girl your daughter?" He answered, "Not my daughter, but she is a little girl." She walked over and patted JT's shoulder, praising him. "Ah, so she's your niece? It's rare to see uncles choosing gifts for their nieces themselves like this. She must be so happy." Then she continued, "But you're a little lacking in finesse." The owner placed a toy stethoscope on his chest. Then she said, "For a 4-year-old, it's better to buy role-playing toys like this instead of dolls. This kind helps you play with her and strengthen your family bond." But in her mind, she was marveling. His body is so firm. She enthusiastically pitched her sale. "Ah, if you buy this Dr. playset, I'll give you a 10% discount on other sets." Seeing him pick up the toy, the owner asked, "Would you like to take a look?" JT imagined Winter playing with a syringe and said he'd take it. Hearing that, the shop owner was thrilled she'd hit the jackpot. In the end, JT bought a huge pile of gifts. She kept saying, "It looks like a lot, but it's very necessary for a child's psychological development. You won't regret it." He took out his card. The owner asked, "Paying by card?" JT just grunted in agreement. Looking at the card, she was shocked. thinking about the value of the card in his hand. It was a VIP black card, reserved only for high society families. No wonder he bought everything I suggested. The shop owner admired his handsome face, secretly calculating. The more I look at this guy, the more attractive he is. He's probably not married. Maybe I should take this chance to make a move? She shyly probed. Sir, do you have a girlfriend? Suddenly, Green appeared, linking her arm with JT's and calling out. Sir? She asked. Are you planning to buy all of this? The shop owner guessed. Could she be his girlfriend? Looking at Green's outfit, she thought, wait, that's a student uniform. Meanwhile, the two continued their conversation casually. So, what were you planning to buy for our winter? He replied, a teddy bear. She said, but why did you pick all this random stuff? The shop owner chimed in. Ah, so you're buying for your little sister? Green glanced at her. The owner said the little girl might not be used to it at first, but she didn't care and continued speaking. Our winter doesn't like these kinds of playsets. The shop owner gave a foolish laugh. Ah? Green repeated. She doesn't like them. The owner said reluctantly. Ah ha ha. Is that so? She picked up a teddy bear and examined it. This one is probably fine. Green looked at the bear and continued. It's similar to her old one, so she won't feel overwhelmed. JT added. I was planning to buy that one from the start. She said, this gets a VIP discount, right? At home, Golden Winter's eyes were wide with excitement. Whoa. Looking at the gifts, they asked politely, are these really for us? Gold held the new wallet, overjoyed. I was just thinking about getting a new wallet. I love you both so much. The little girl looked at everyone's gifts, curious. Winter got a teddy bear. What did Aorium get? She replied, me? With a pair of handcuffs in her mouth, Aorium said, an adult toy. She then tempted, hey, Golden Monkey, come here. I've got a fun game for us. He quickly refused. I don't want to play. The little girl was so scared she was about to cry. Oh, and the little girl he was holding expressed her emotions through touch. Suddenly, Green spoke up. This is for you, sir. Jay opened the gift box. This is, she said. I saw you wearing the same old tie every day, so I bought this for you. Green added. When I start earning money, I'll buy you a suit. He looked at the gift. Thank you. Jay asked why she didn't buy anything for herself. Green replied, I did buy one thing for myself. He was curious. What did you buy? She thought shyly of the lingerie set and said, I'll show you later. A few weeks later, Gordian tiptoed in. He asked formally, you called for me, sir? Jay instructed, I'll be away for 3 days. Make sure to take good care of Winter. Gordian said, you're going far, sir. He glanced at the bed and replied, yeah. Red was on the bed, sleeping and drooling. Jay continued, Yorium is coming with me too. The next day, everyone was gathered in the lobby. One of the young men spoke up, it's finally starting. The simulated battle of the Great Demon War. As he finished speaking, a purple circle began to expand. The simulation of the Great Demon War was known to be a survival battle. The fight would last for 2 days and 3 nights inside a virtual dungeon. Students would move in groups of 3, under the command of a representative guardian. This was called Tactical Command. They originally held the position of navigators in superhuman teams that specialized in hunting monsters. Here, the guardian would play that role. Jay was also present at this very moment. Next to him, Red was sitting with her hand propping up her chin, assessing this year's members. Geez, look at those tense little kids. How could a bunch of nobodies like them have any real combat experience? But Jay reminded her, hey, Yorium, this isn't the time to be showing off. She was displeased to hear that. Yeah, he continued. This isn't a solo fight. You have to cooperate in a 3-person team. Red sighed. I know, but I have to choose teammates I actually like. Suddenly, she noticed a group of people nearby. A boy and a girl were approaching. The boy scratched his head and asked, if you don't have a team yet, would you like to team up with us? Red flared up and yelled, what the hell? Get lost, you weaklings. But Jay calmly asked, what are your names? The young man replied, I'm Hisaki Sojiro. The girl also spoke up, I'm Kim Jin. They both bowed their heads politely at the same time. Sojiro sincerely promised, we'll do our best not to get in your way. But Red maintained her cranky attitude. You trash, didn't you hear me tell you to get lost? In her mind, she thought, they look pathetically weak. Yet, Jay simply agreed, okay. This made Red scowl. Huh? Who said they could join our team? So Jay told her, if you don't like it, go find your own teammates. And just like that, the girl lowered her voice. That's too much trouble. Seeing this exchange, Sojiro and Kim Jin were both stunned into silence. In the end, Red had no choice but to tolerate it. Hey, weaklings, if you get in my way while I'm fighting, you'd better watch out. Sojiro happily said, thank you, ma'am. But unexpectedly, a hand came flying towards him, and someone slapped him hard on the head. Sojiro clutched his head in pain. It was Johnny. He glared at him and warned, "Hey, you nobody. Didn't I tell you before? Are you trying to die? Hanging around in front of me like this?" Tears welled up in Sojiro's eyes from the pain. The boy quickly said, "Heh, sorry." Then Johnny turned to tease Kim Jin. "Hey, your boyfriend apologized. Aren't you going to say anything?" He placed his hand directly on her head, challenging her. "Got nothing to say?" At that moment, his cronies laughed and joked. "Hey, Johnny, there are guardians from other groups here. Tone it down a bit," he sneered. "So what? The adults don't care what happens to a bunch of orphans." Emboldened, Johnny pressed his advantage, grabbing Kim Jin's hair and criticizing her. "Hey, you should cut your bangs. They make you look so gloomy." She tried to pull his hand away but couldn't, only managing a helpless plea. Don't do that." Johnny smirked triumphantly. Oh my, an orphan who dares to talk back. He had no idea that Red had approached him from the side. She said softly, "Orphan? What's that about?" Hearing that, he was startled. He thought to himself, this woman is Yorium, the crazy representative from the Azure Dragon Academy. Red stuck her hands in her pockets and said impatiently, "I'll ask you one more time. What do you mean by orphan?" Johnny then remembered his family's words. "The elders in my family told me to stay away from her kind." So he immediately let go of Kim Jin's hair and turned to explain. "Haha, you don't know what an orphan is? It means students without a guardian. To put it bluntly, they're just worthless trash with no backing." As he spoke, he laughed and pointed at Kim Jin and Sojiro. Red ruffled her hair. "Ah, so that's it. Do I really have to team up with these environmental pollutants?" Hearing her say that, Johnny threw an arm around her shoulder, trying to act friendly and agree with her. "Hey, don't tell me you're on the same team as them. Why would someone as strong as you team up with such weaklings? Heh. How about you join our team? If you agree, I can make a spot for you." His two lackeys were stunned to hear this. One of them questioned, "Johnny, what are you talking about?" But Johnny couldn't be bothered with them. All he could think was, yeah, she's crazy, but if I can get on her good side, it'll be extremely beneficial for me. Her fighting style seems to match mine too. I just need to flatter her a little more. And then, a fist flew straight into his face. Of course, Johnny took the full force of the blow. His two underlings, along with the duo of Kim Jin and Sojiro, watched with their jaws dropped. He could only cover his mouth as he listened to Red curse him out. "Hey, you blockhead, you want to die? Who the hell gave you permission to put your hand on my shoulder? Are we that close? You dare to act like you're on my level? You insect." At this, Johnny just stood there, frozen, his face contorted in pain. Inside, he was screaming, "You little bitch, just you wait." But then, surprisingly, he turned his back and walked away, even as Red was still cursing him out. "Next time I see your face, you're dead." Kim Jin and Sojiro stared at Red in shock, while JT, who was used to this, could only let out a long sigh. Just then, the instructor stepped out and announced, "All right, all students, listen up." It was the practical combat professor, Quit. He spoke with a lazy air. "I'll explain the rules now. You will be divided into 50 teams, starting from separate spawn points. Points for activity, takedowns, deaths, and damage will all be calculated and ranked in real time. If you die, you'll have to wait 3 hours to respawn at a different location. Remember this. The name of the virtual stage is the Ant Nest, and it's exactly what it sounds like. The location is a gigantic cave." The instructor finished his presentation with a simple, "Good luck to you all." Dismissed. One by one, everyone stepped into the virtual matrix. JT's group entered as well. Red laughed. Hey, this is pretty impressive. Awesome. Well then, let's kick things off with a massacre." But Kim Jin quickly stopped her and asked, "Wait, how do we know where the other teams are to fight them?" Red looked clueless and said, "Huh? We just run around until we find them," Kim Jin explained. "Sorry, but we're not as fast or agile as you. If you charge off alone, we could get ambushed from behind." Red put her hands on her hips and scoffed. "Good grief, are you proud of being weak?" Kim Jin offered his opinion. "We should come up with a strategy before we act." Hearing that, Red sneered. "Strategy? What strategy? Just let me do the fighting. You guys cover me from the back." Kim Jin then criticized her seriously. "This is a team battle, not a solo match. Don't act so recklessly." Red glared and yelled back, "I took pity on you and let you on the team, and now you're trying to push your luck?" Sojiro, caught in the middle, nervously tried to intervene. "Hey everyone, calm down." It was then that JT finally spoke up. "Do you guys have a specific target in mind?" Caught off guard by the sudden question, Kim Jin was a bit stunned. "Huh?" JT, maintaining his cold expression, continued, "How many teams do you want to take down?" Kim Jin replied, "How could it be that easy? Every team has a navigator. It's hard to catch them off guard." Red couldn't help but chime in again. "So pessimistic. Who cares how many teams there are? Then, the cunning girl flashed a triumphant smile and answered, "We see a team. We destroy that team. Simple." Meanwhile, Johnny was wincing from the loving gift Red had given him, muttering as he walked, "That damn girl. My face still hurts." His team's navigator asked, "Why do you keep messing with Yoram just to get your ass kicked?" "The higher-ups told us not to mess with her," he replied sullenly. "I was just trying to be friendly." Who knew she was actually crazy? One of his underlings then spoke up. "But Johnny, were you serious earlier when you said you were going to kick someone out to get Yoram on the team?" Hearing that, he was taken aback. "Of course not. I was just testing her reaction." To change the subject, he stomped his foot furiously and shouted, "Ugh, Yoram, just you wait. When I see you in here, I'll tear you to shreds. But speak of the devil, and she shall appear." A voice that sent shivers down Johnny's spine rang out. "Tear me to shreds, you say?" The boss lady herself suddenly charged forward, the sword in her hand gleaming strangely. The loving look in her eyes made Johnny freeze for a full 5 seconds, speechless, his expression completely frozen. Red looked at him and issued a challenge. "Go on, try it." Before he could even move, she launched a kick right into his jaw for the second time. Poor Johnny's health points dropped from 100 down to just 17. She then spun around gracefully, much to everyone's amazement. As a result, Johnny was sent flying into a wall, creating a significant shockwave. The navigator of Johnny's team thought in astonishment, "Damn it. Since when were we being followed?" He realized what was happening and yelled, "It's an ambush. Prepare for battle." And so, his 2 underlings readied their machine guns and took an attack stance. Red had now landed on the ground. She said softly, "A battle? You're gravely mistaken." And then, she slowly raised her head, a savage grin spreading across her face as she continued, "This is just a one-sided hunt, and I'm the hunter, you dogs."